हाँ लगा।
कैमरा क्लीन कर दे एक बार।
देखे तो पोजीशन देख ली। तो भाई जो एस3 का फ़ोन लेना चाहिए, लिया है तो फिर
थोड़ा पीछे रखो, थोड़ा पीछे बढ़ा के,
नहीं गिर जाएगा। इसको बांध दे कोई तरीके से यहाँ पे।
थोड़ा पीछे बढ़ा, थोड़ा पीछे बढ़ा, पीछे बढ़ा, पीछे।
अरे वो खुद सेट करेंगे।
कौन?
ओ सर
अरे सेट करे तो क्या दिक्कत है?
बोल रहा हूँ तो उसमें आवाज़ आ रही है।
सही से, सही से, सही से। क्या
बुला रहा भाई ना।
हाँ चल।
सर दोबारा देख।
हाँ चार्ज तो हो रहा है।
हाँ सर बांध दिया रस्सी, एक और रस्सी से बांध दिया।
नहीं ठीक है, अब नहीं गिरेगा, छोड़ दे। ओके, फोन उठाया है, एक बार रोटेट कर दे।
बस बस वो लॉक रहेगा।
बस बस बस
बस बस परफेक्ट। हाय गाइस, कम बैक टू यूट्यूब चैनल साइंटिफिक obcms।
ये पूरा बोर्ड नहीं है, आना चाहिए।
इसको थोड़ा यहाँ पे रख,
थोड़ा पीछे।
अरे पड़ा रहने दे, वरना ये हिल जाएगा।
थोड़ा
ऐसे भी पढ़ लेते
एक मिनट रुका। बस बस बस
अभी भी नहीं।
बस 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 बस।
इसकी एक टांग उठा।
अरे रुक जाओ एक मिनट।
अभी
बस ठीक है, ठीक है।
अरे वन बीट दिखाना है तुम यार।
दिक्कत में नीचे करो।
सही है नहीं,
खाली
भी आ रहा है।
वही तो बता रहा हूँ, थोड़ा ऊपर करो। टाइटनेस बढ़ती है ना। उसके बाद हम लोग बैठ के सोफा डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, काम सब
सही है।
बस ठीक है, बड़ा आ जाते हैं। 1 मिनट दिख रहा है।
चलें।
हाँ सही है, ठीक है।
इंग्लिश चलेगी, इंग्लिश चली। बढ़िया डॉक्यूमेंट आके देखो, अच्छी है। सर क्या करती है भाई? सर को भी दो। सर को दूसरी दे दी। ओए सर को दूसरी दे। सर
चलो भाई,
मजा नहीं आया भाई।
पल्स आए ना,
दूसरा
ओए चिराग।
परफेक्ट है सर, एकदम परफेक्ट। आपका वन बीट भी आ रहा है?
अरे वन बीट नहीं है ना, स्पीकर आए खाली। नहीं आ गया।
अब देखिए सर। सर सर एक बार चेक कर लीजिए।
ठीक है।
सेल्फी ले
देगा ना, देगा ना, देगा।
बीच में नहीं आएगा सर, बियर्ड्स के बीच में।
इसको सही तो करो यार।
क्या करते हैं? क्या है वो, ऐसे ही रहेगा। दूसरा जला रखा है। ओके,
इधर भी तो चाहिए। घर जाके
क्या हो गया सर? Please sit.
Good afternoon and welcome again, all of you. We are hoping that food was appetizing for you and without the further ado, let's get started for the first session.
Prashant sir.
A very good afternoon to all of you. We were there in the morning today, but with a separate tone, because we wanted to make the students understand the essentials of effective learning. And today we are here for an activity on 360-degree appraisal system for faculty classroom management. And let me assure all of you that it's not very easy, not at all very easy to manage a class. Why do I say so? Because in a particular class you find all types of students. When I say all types of students, as per the learning ability, they can be categorized into three. Bottom one third, below average, middle one third, somewhere around average, top one third. When I say top one third, they are really good. And believe me, do not take me otherwise. These people, if they study by their own, they will clear the exams. But here the point is not to make them clear only the exams. Here the point is to ensure their overall holistic development. So that's the reason we tell people to come to our colleges, come to the institutions, study and learn from us. Right? Now, point number one. Point number two. How many of you have used banking? How many of you use banking services? On a show of hands. All use banking? Okay. How many of you used to visit banks 5 years ago? 5 years ago. Used to visit banks. How many of you are in the habit of visiting bank for daily transactions today? No. You know what? We require banking, but we do not require banks. Use the same example for education. We require our students require education. Do they require educators? Why I am saying so is, if I want to learn about ChatGPT, the person who invented ChatGPT, his lectures are available online. If I have to learn digital marketing, the person who developed digital marketing, his lectures, some of the top experts lecture are very online. But there are some courses that cannot be learned online. One of them is engineering. Engineering has to be learned inside the labs. Similarly, courses like pharmacy, courses like nursing, paramedical, you need to equip them a lot with practical exercises, live exercises. But one thing is for sure, even if it is an online live class, even to manage that class is difficult at times. So now we are talking about managing an offline class. In the morning today, all the students were at the lab, right? In this beautiful sky blue color and orange color chairs, right? There was one student who was sitting right there at that corner, one sitting right there at that corner. And there were of course students sitting here. Man is occupying the same seat, right? There were students over here. Right? Now, as an educator, I need to ensure that this student and this student listens to me, not only hears me, but listens to me very carefully. That requires classroom management. How do I manage a class? With the bottom one third below average, who would require more spoon feeding from us? Bottom, middle one third would be requiring more, what do I say, attention from us? And top one third, who actually would like to challenge us or would like to listen from us. So here the power, teach is something very, complex and something that is my time. Now all the students are in the same class. How do you manage their class? And there are institutions in the world, including India, where students are from different geographies, cultures, languages, belief systems. Just for example, in North America, if you do this, it means thumbs up. Best of luck. Best wishes. Good. And in South America, if you do this, and look here, and come back, because this means a terribly sign. So if suppose there are students inside the classroom belonging to different cultures, different languages, different belief systems, how do you handle it? Then classroom management becomes far more complex and of course interesting at the same time. Here in this geography, you won't be finding many students belonging to different cultures, different languages, different belief systems. Right? But you go down south, go to where VIT, go to ICFI, go to some of the great institutions here, even in North India, IIMs, IITs, NITs, you'll find students belonging to different cultures, different religions. I am using the word religions also. You know why? I went to Dubai. I was asked to do a session at Westport University College. And when I entered the class, I saw one Nigerian, one Ugandan, Indians, UAE Emirati, and some Europeans. And now if I have to use my humor to crack a joke, I need to understand that humor and joke should not be cultural violation when a person sitting inside the class. In that case, I have to have knowledge of all cultures or belief systems, or I should do plain teaching. And if I do plain teaching, aaj ke shaam ko 12 4 log mar gaye. If I teach in this manner, they will lose interest in me. So classroom management is not easy. And if you do not have students of different cultures, different languages, different beliefs, different religions in your class, then that's not easy. So why I told you this thing? जिंदगी उसी चार दीवारी में खत्म नहीं है. There can be different permutations and combinations inside the चार दीवारी. I have tasted some, and the most difficult time I found teaching was teaching to students of different nationalities. And I used to mind each and every word that I used to speak. Otherwise, they would say, sir has uttered something that is considered to be a taboo, that is considered to be an offense in my language or in my belief system. Now, let us make life simple. We are talking about simple classroom management, where our students belong to the same language, same belief, maybe different religion, that's not an issue. Religion has never been an issue in education. The only thing is that how do we manage a class comprising three types of students? Bottom one, middle one, and top. Right? Okay. My name still remains the same. I am the one. But I think click the wrong button. Yeah. Okay. What is the objective of this program? It's around 3:40. We're going to be here till 5 o'clock. What is the objective of this program? What do we need to study? What do we need to understand? These are the objectives. If you look at here, understand the significance, that is the importance of classroom management, and also understand the essentials of classroom management. Remember in the morning I told the student the essentials of learning. For us, it is the essentials of classroom management. In order to manage a class, what are the 11 essential points? What is that 11 Sutri program to manage a class really well? And why do we need to manage a class? What is the importance of classroom management? That we'll go through when we go through the significance of classroom. Right? One point. Point number 2. How does the principal nursing, principal farming, administrators, how do you find out and evaluate, is my class being managed properly? Forget about the administrators who are evaluating you. There is something known as self-evaluation. How do I self-evaluate? मेरी class ठीक जा रही है. How do I self-evaluate? So what is the appraisal system of faculty classroom management? And what is 360 degree in this? 360 degree means pura chakkar. This means no loophole should be there. All stakeholders from whom evaluation should be taken should be involved. So my question to you later would be, who do you think are the people from whom I should ask, how is the class of this faculty going on? How is this faculty managing the class? Who should be the people whom I should ask? Those different types of people. When you ask the same thing, then only the holistic or 360 degree appraisal system or evaluation system is said to be completed. Do not leave any stakeholder. What I want to say is, if I take your classroom management by taking your feedback only from students, and then the students वो आपको कम रेटिंग देते हैं, then what you know? आप क्या करोगे? If it's a fact, मैं स्ट्रिक्ट हूँ ना, इसलिए मेरे को रेटिंग कम नहीं है. Then I'll ask you, अच्छा उनको क्यों ज़्यादा नहीं? अरे वो क्लास में आके घी खाता, बुलबुल खाता, घी करते हैं, उनका फीडबैक अच्छा है. So is this the only system to evaluate your classroom management? So it is not 360, it will be 36 degree. So what is the remaining? So we need to ask each and every stakeholder about your classroom management. Then only the appraisal system will be said to be 360 degrees. And by the way, 360 degree does not mean जहाँ से शुरू किया वहीं खत्म हो गया. तो जहाँ से शुरू हुआ अगर वहाँ लौट के आए, then this means I should be a person who must have had gathered all types of wisdom before coming back to my hometown. जहाँ से चालू हुए वहीं खत्म हो गए, पूरी wisdom ले आई. That's the 360 degree appraisal feedback which I'm going to discuss in a couple of minutes from now. How do you connect well with students? I am not asking you how do you connect with students. Student को दूर थप्पड़ मार लीजिए, हो गया क्या? But that is not allowed. Student को they speak something foul. You retaliate by speaking something foul. हो गया क्या? खराब कनेक्शन हुआ तो क्या हुआ? वो तो हुआ तो. That's not correct. How do you connect well when everything ends well? And last, how do you encourage students to demonstrate positive behavior and not negative behavior inside the classroom? Suppose the students occupying the chair. आप क्लास पढ़ा रहे हो या यू आर रेडी गेटिंग रेडी फॉर क्लास एंड स्टूडेंट ड्रैग्स दैट चेन लाइक अ होलीगन दैट क्रिएट्स दैट क्रीपी नॉइज क्या फीलिंग है एंड देन यू से तो उसको चेन लगेगा नहीं आती यू डू नॉट नो हाउ टू ड्रैग अ चेन विदाउट मेकिंग नॉइज उससे क्या करना चाहिए सीजर आपको नाउ व्हाट इज गोइंग टू द कनेक्शन इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी किस्मत कनेक्शन इट्स गोइंग टू बी बद किस्मत कनेक्शन and then you say acha very good and then you start showing your Simba your Suryavansham and your Jayakan Shirke then things will not connect well so how do you encourage positive behavior class listen I tell you one thing we are doing one of the most difficult things on earth believe it we are doing one of the most difficult things on earth be proud as teachers. This is not a thing that has come to us by chance. We have chosen to be teachers. And once we have chosen to be teachers, this means even the best scientist must have been taught by a teacher, the best doctor must have been taught by a teacher. So teacher को replace नहीं कर पाया. And then the student, once a student told one of my colleagues that आपसे ज़्यादा कमाता हूँ मैं. And that colleague of mine was very humble. I answered that student, ये जो तू कमाता है ना, तुझको एक कमाने की कला भी किसी टीचर ने दी है, और तू जैसे ऐसे कई कमाने वाले पैदा किए, you are just one of them, and he is the only one, and that student touched the feet of that teacher, माफी मांगी चलता है. There are students who behave like this, attitude. Sustainability में जमीन छोड़ के हवा में उड़ रहे हो. Have you ever seen a balloon, hydrogen filled balloon तो छोड़ दे तो रस्सी उसकी. Can you predict कहाँ जाएगा वो? जहाँ हवा जाती है वहीं जाएगा. इसका मतलब क्योंकि इतना ऊंचा उड़ने के बाद हवा के अधीन हो गए. You have surrendered yourself to that air because you have left the ground. Never ever lose ground. Coming back to this. How to encourage positive management in class? Again, important question. I am going to ask an important question to all of you. Look at the screen. Try to answer. I have still a whiteboard over here. I have a bubble set over here. And whatever response you give, I will note it down. Let's see. Right? बताइए. What do you think are the characteristics of effective teaching? Now listen, someone of you can ask me, "Arey sir, you started by saying that you have to teach us, you have to share with us effective classroom management. ये teaching कहाँ से आ गई बीच में?" So I ask you, class के अंदर करते क्या हैं? Teaching तो करते हैं. So my question to you is, what are the characteristics of effective teaching? Or in other words, in order to be an effective teacher, what are the characteristics that we should have? Tell me, one by one. I'll write it down. Sorry? Examples. You need to be overloaded with information so that you explain what they are asked. Give them bombarded with them with so many examples that when it comes to application of knowledge, the student applies the knowledge by giving you examples. जो दिया है वो मिलेगा वापस. And then you people say मैं बहुत देखता हूँ वो लेता ही नहीं है, वो तो याद ही नहीं करता. That's individual to individual difference. But at least here we are not for the development of students. In this session, in the morning session, we were for the development of students. Here we are development of a student. Ourselves. And as teachers, we are lifelong students. Of whom? Ourselves. So bombard them with examples, or what you need to say is knowledge. Right? Supplement your knowledge with many examples. Okay? What are the other characteristics of good teacher?
The good environment.
Knowledge. Now what did you mention? Come on there. Skill. Teaching style, and different ways of teaching. You never always follow one style. How many of you have heard the name Salma Sultan? the famous TV reporter Salma Sultan, without any emotion and used, मतलब क्या मैं ही ऊपर बताता हूँ यहाँ पे, like I'm only 50. I mean Salma Sultan was there 20 years ago. So Salma Sultan आज भारत क्रिकेट मैच जीत गया, आज LOC में 4 सैनिक शहीद हुए, आज शाम को प्रधानमंत्री का जन्मदिन मनाया गया. So play. So if you teach in only one style, students will discard your style. They will mimic you. How many have seen the mimicry of Amitabh Bachchan? Many people. How many have seen the mimicry of Govinda? Very difficult because we have different styles. So teaching style, maybe different methods of teaching. We use a polished word. We use pedagogy, right? Pedagogy is how you teach. Otherwise, बच्चों को पढ़ाने में pedagogy होती है, and to teach elders is pedagogy. But someone over here has mentioned something. Yes.
Healthy environment.
A healthy environment, maybe. Good communication, absolutely correct. Man mentioned good communication. Let me tell you an interesting thing. I like good comm skills. Man mentioned communication. I mentioned one more thing. I have seen good researchers as bad teachers, and good teachers as bad researchers. This means every good teacher cannot be a good researcher. Every good teacher is not necessarily a good teacher. Every good researcher is not necessarily a good teacher. क्या है सब कुछ करा लो तो थोड़ा सब करना है. But what is the crux? What is the ground? Good teaching. Even when you become a principal, I am a director. How many students are there in my campus? 12,000. I am a director. But first I am a good teacher. You know why? कुर्सियाँ आती रहेंगी, कुर्सियाँ जाती रहेंगी. अंदर का फैकल्टी मरना नहीं चाहिए. That is how my value will be there. Right? So, good comm skills, environment, teaching pedagogy. Anything else? Sorry? So we should have adaptability to understand what is the level of class and how what style it should be adopted. Right? Anything else? Problem solving. Many students have problems. You need to solve. Many students they fight with each other. You need to get the thing resolved so that the class is managed very well. Anything else? One at a time, please. Audio video. That's a teaching aid. That is teaching aid. Sorry, ma'am? Yeah, of course, you need to reward or you need to appreciate positive behavior. And what we have been doing, we have been punishing negative behavior. But it's high time for us to even reward positive behavior. Now you were saying something. Preparedness, that comes with knowledge also. If you are knowledgeable, then you need to be prepared because having knowledge is not sufficient. What I'm trying to say is, if suppose I am informed that you have to deliver 1 hour lecture, I am prepared for 1 hour. Suddenly somebody tells me, sir, थोड़ा time shoot हो गया, वहाँ से ज़्यादा time ले लिया, खाने को time आ गया, so you have only 40 minutes. और मैंने तो 1 घंटे का presentation तैयार किया है. How can I deliver in 40 minutes? This is not good. 40 minutes नहीं कर सकते. Brevity is a skill. You cannot teach in 40 minutes. You are not adaptable. You are not prepared for that thing because your earlier preparation was so static. Then you cannot change that preparation. What type of teacher is there? And you expect your students to be practical. मेरा खराब मूड होगा तो चुप रहना, बोलना कुछ नहीं, झगड़ा करके आया हूँ. मेरा मूड अच्छा रहेगा, बोलो नहीं बोलो. And we expect our students to be practical. Let us see what are the characteristics of effective teaching and this is the research. A research was done. नीचे researchers के नाम होंगे. Research was done. Not only knowledge, but passion, enthusiasm for the subject. If you are not passionate, see, love what you do what you love. If you are not passionate about the subject that you are teaching, even if you have knowledge, you cannot transfer that knowledge passionately. You cannot transfer that knowledge with enthusiasm. Students should feel that you are so happy teaching that subject. This means that you own that subject. That subject doesn't own you. So we need to be very knowledgeable in whatever we are teaching. We need to be very enthusiastic. And then someone mentioned about skill, experience, preparedness. If you are very prepared, that adds on to your experience. And creativity. With what? With a range of appropriate pedagogical tools. If I have to deliver an eye-to-eye contact lecture, I should be experienced in that. If I have to deliver a PPT, I should know how to use a PPT. Now you see how to use a PPT. I should never use a PPT like this. So knowledge of and enthusiasm for subject matter, skill, experience and creativity, range of appropriate tools, understanding of I'm reading the PPT. When your students make presentations and read the PPT, do you like it? So हमारे क्या सोच रहे हो? You know what's the best presentation? You look this one, you use this slide changer, you click the slide, अब आपको slide में दिख रहा होगा, ये ऊपर लिखा हुआ पहला point, it's so important. Then that person says, what a greatness is it? He is not even looking at the slide. I don't know now whether you have seen that thing or not, because I think there is an age difference over here. Have you ever seen that fellow who used to narrate stories or bioscope हम लोग देखते हैं, he used to rotate the film and he used to tell the stories, he used to rotate the film. And I used to wonder, how does he remember the story when he's rotating the bioscope film? How does he remember the story? So practiced was he. So experienced was he. So we need to have a range of pedagogical tools. Sometimes you may have monologue, sometimes you may have group discussion, sometimes you may have students coming on the stage and teaching what you taught. Sometimes you have student discussion among themselves, sometimes you have a case study, sometimes you have a lab project, sometimes you have an experiment going on in a field. Sometimes you take them to the organic farm over there and tell them identify what are these plants. So many things. Sometimes you can give them formula and you can tell them this is the medicine, what is the formula, touch salt and tell me what is this formula behind it. So many things. So you need to have different methods of teaching. That's what you mentioned. And then professional interaction. Professional interaction with students. Inside the classroom, outside the classroom. We are not here to make students happy. No. No. We are here to make students learn. Learning will make them happy? I don't know. And if they are happy, then actually learning, I am doubtful about this. The moment you declare there is a holiday tomorrow, there is a thunderous round of applause. The moment you say there is an extra class tomorrow, शांति रह जाती है. And then you look at yourself, जिंदा तो हो यार. ये तो दिमाग में पड़ गया. इतनी शांति क्यों है? So do not ever think that happiness equals to learning, learning equals to happiness. So what we are here for? We are here to make them happy, feel happy, or we are here to make them learn? We are here to make them learn. Let them enjoy that learning. And in order to help them enjoy that learning comes into hand classroom management. Then we are going to learn in a couple of moments from now. And then involvement with, and see, professional interaction with students within and beyond the class. Someone over here said problem solver. Yes, you need to be a problem solver. Yes, but problem solver related to those problems that are actually hindering the professional advancement of the student, the education advancement of the student. There are students approaching to me, sir, ये देखिए वो मुझसे बातें नहीं कर रही. सर वो मुझसे बात नहीं कर रही. So she is not talking to me. Yeah, I tell you. And then I deal with such students strictly. And then there are students who are not talking in the class, then I call them. Sir, I feel very scared. मुझे डर है if I ask a question, that question is a very foolish question, that the class might will laugh at me. Then you have to tell them, okay, then you come to my cabin and ask those questions. And then if those questions are really good, believe me, then I will promote you to ask those questions when you are there in the class itself. That's how you ask. And if the students laugh, leave it upon me. I'll handle them. And if required, I'll manhandle them. But you ask questions. So you have to make the interaction with the students very professional. You are not here to make them feel happy. You are here to make them feel fortunate for whatever they have done for you. And then the last thing, involvement with and contribution to one's profession in enhancing teaching and learning. In order to be an effective teacher, we need to update ourselves. If suppose I update myself, and I show that knowledge inside the classroom, then I will be respected as a teacher. If I am respected as a teacher, my teaching will be effective. If my teaching will be effective, there are chances that a classroom will be managed really well. If my teaching is not effective, there are chances that a classroom will not be managed well. If the classroom is not managed well, things will go away. Right? And then you will listen to that statement when the principal says, अच्छा लगा आपके साथ काम करना। तब मैं तो अभी भी कर रहे थे, ये लेकर रहो। So, what are the essentials of effective teaching? Knowledge of the subject, enthusiasm or passion for the subject. And then, experience in using different pedagogical tools. And then, use appropriate assessment and evaluation techniques. I missed this thing. How do you use assessment techniques? What I'm trying to say is, assessment means continuous evaluation throughout the semester. Evaluation means end semester or mid-semester exam, right? So, will you wait till the mid-semester or the end semester to know whether your teaching is effective or not? Or will you use certain assessment exercises in between to know whether teaching is effective or not? So, you should be well practiced in using different types of assessment and evaluation techniques. So, what is different types? We have class test, we have quiz, we have MCQ, we have assignment, we have mid-semester, and in AKT we have only end semester studies. So, यही सब तो होता है. So, what are the assessment techniques? Within the classroom, there are several assessment techniques which I am going to show you today. Use them. Most of you must be using them. But then you must not be realizing that they are actually good assessment techniques. Right? So, characteristics of effective teaching. Understood? And this research was done by Braskamp and Mori, 1994, then Sentrina 1993, Davis 1993. These are all old research papers, but still relevant in today's time. Do you see over here that we not only good teacher, we need to be an entertainer? Entertainment is not our cup of tea. We need to be facilitators. Facilitate knowledge. Today, in this brick and mortar structure, tomorrow without bricks and walls. Because people need education. But history has taught us they may not need educators in the future within the formalized setup. But they will always need motivators or facilitators who can push them, who can guide them. Right? Now, another question. Since I could not ask many questions from the students, I have saved those questions for you. Another question. What is the relationship between effective teaching and effective classroom management? In other words, if you are an effective teacher, this means you are managing your class really well. Is it true or false? Number two, if you are managing your class really well, this means you are an effective teacher. True or false? Or both mean the same thing? What true? First statement. If you are an effective teacher, this means you are managing the class really well. True or false? True. Statement number two. If you are managing class really well, this means you are an effective teacher. True or false? False? I said you are managing the class really well. Depends on how are you managing. बेटा शोर मत मचाओ क्यों बेटा अभी शोर मत मचाओ क्यों प्रिंसिपल साहब बहुत चलाओगे सब फिर so very confusing concepts. I am not saying yes or no to whatever answers you are given, but I will show you what's there on the slide. Effective teaching and effective classroom management are very closely related and mutually reinforcing. This means if you are an effective teacher, that does not necessarily mean that you are handling the class really well. If you are handling the class really well, that does not necessarily mean that you are an effective teacher. But if you are good in both, this means that you are an effective teacher handling the class so low कि पीछे नहीं कैसे छोड़ देते पता है क्वांटम फिजिक्स पता नहीं क्या भी आंसर ऑफ निकलेगा and I have seen some teachers बिल्कुल आवाज चला अभी कभी छोड़ कर तुम लोगों को लिखो and people are writing पता नहीं लिख क्या है classroom is managed. So what I'm trying to say is, if ABC is important, why are we leaving XYZ? वो भी तो important है. अभी तो वर्णमाला बनेगी. वर्णमाला. The whole universe is full of loops. दिक्कत वहाँ होती है people start the loop वहीं छोड़ देते हैं. So you need to be a good teacher, an effective teacher. At the same time, you need to know how to manage a class. But yes, if you take vitamin A, this means that night vision सही रहेगा, night blindness नहीं होगी. अगर night blindness हो गई और ये निष्कर्ष निकाला जाए you will never take vitamin A, ये भी तो गलत है. ये तो कुछ खाते पीते नहीं थे, नो नॉनवेज, नो अल्कोहल, नो सिगरेट, उसके बाद मर गए. ये तो सब कुछ खाता है, अब तक जिंदा है. So what I'm trying to say is both are important, both are related, both complement each other. तो दोनों कॉन्सेप्ट एक नहीं है. Never ever think that if he is a good teacher, this means that he is handling the class really well. Now listen, I know one teacher. I'm going to take this his name because this session we got over that in my earlier organization. I know one teacher. क्लासरूम में तो बिल्कुल ढंग से नहीं पढ़ा पाते थे. Very bad teacher inside the classroom. Very good teacher inside his cabin. When students used to come and study from him individually at cabin में बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते. And this nobody told me. Only students told me. I did not understand this anomaly. ये क्या हो गया? And then a teacher, class full regulated, very good. जब भी राउंड लगाते थे, no noise, nothing. Students सब सारे सब्जेक्ट फेल हुए. क्लास भी फेल हो गई. डिसिप्लिन क्लास थी, सबको पढ़ाते रहे. सर, सबको डिसिप्लिन था. Then पढ़ाते कहाँ थे? Very confusing. So, effective classroom management provides, and somebody mentioned environment ना? ये आता है classroom management से. Effective classroom management provides a structured and orderly, disciplined environment. It only provides an environment. Why this environment is important? So that students read the whole words. So that students focus on learning. This structured environment, this orderly environment, this disciplined environment, this professional environment encourages learning and reduces, जो वाइस चेयरमैन से बात कर रहे थे, reduces distractions and ensures that the instructor's time is used really well. सब कुछ कंट्रोल में है, इंस्ट्रक्टर कंट्रोल में है. That is the second point. Last point. Effective teaching, it thrives, it blossoms, it nourishes, it succeeds in this environment. This means environment is important to succeed in teaching. But if teaching is taking place and the environment is supportive, if the environment is supportive, this means teaching is taking place. ऐसा नहीं है हमारा. There are exceptions. So not only you have to create the environment, but once that environment is created, you have to be an effective teacher. This means सब लोग शांत हो जाओ, गुरुजी आ रहे हैं, सत्संग कर रहे हैं, सब शांत हो जाओ. गुरुजी आ रहे हैं, बैठ के ध्यान में हो, आप भी ध्यान में, कोई कुछ नहीं बोल पाए. कुछ देर बाद एनवायरनमेंट डिस्टर्ब हो जाएगा. Because environment was made orderly, but Guruji is not doing his job. So, effective teaching thrives in this environment because it allows the teacher to deliver content clearly and engage students so that students focus on learning. Here also focus on learning, here also focus on learning. तो जब दो चीजों का उद्देश्य एक ही है तो उसका मतलब वो दोनों चीजें बराबर है, एक ही दिशा की तरफ जा रही है, बराबर नहीं है. If I have to reach, what do I say? Maybe a railway station is here, maybe somewhere nearby. If I have to reach railway station, एक ही रास्ते जाऊंगा क्या? I know I have to go to railway station. You know you have to go to railway station. रास्ते अलग हो सकते हैं, जगह तो एक है, but is it that I am you and you are me? Then, so you need to have an effective classroom management. At the same time, you need to be an effective teacher. जब इन दोनों चीज का संगम होगा, गंगा जमुना, तब जाके अदृश्य संस्कृति नजर आएगी. सच नारिणी संस्कृति अदृश्य हो गई. You cannot see Saraswati. Such an irony. So, Saraswati has distributed itself in each one of us. We have to show, right? So, effective teaching and effective classroom management. Now, from now onwards, let us do this thing. If something is good for effective teaching, we'll presume that that thing is also good for effective classroom management. If something is good for effective classroom management, we'll presume that that will make me an effective teacher. ठीक है, अब यहाँ से संगम करके आगे चलते हैं. But दोनों नदियाँ एक नहीं है. By the way, I use lot of mythological and real examples. गंगा का नाम गंगा कहाँ से पड़ा था? Is river Ganges a river? Does somebody know there are two rivers? When they meet, from that point, Ganges starts. दो नदियां मिलती हैं. Absolutely correct. And that स्थान is where Devaprayag, sorry, Rudraprayag. अब जो घाटों में लिखी गंगा है. So if there is an effective classroom, effective teacher, and you say both are saying no, process तो दो लगे थे. Result एक आया. ये भी स्टेशन पहुंच गए, हम भी स्टेशन पहुंच गए. हो सकता है आरएससी मेरी लेटा दो तो एक पर अलग अलग तो हाफ सीट जाने हैं. But you are not me, I am not you. Right? Okay. Another question. I am here to ask several questions for all of you. Another question. What is the best method to evaluate whether you are a good teacher or you are managing class level? अब यहाँ से good teacher and good classroom मैंने अलग अलग नहीं लेके चलेंगे. नदियाँ मिल गई ना. Now we will talk about Ganges. Right? So, what is the best method to know whether you are a good effective teacher, whether your teaching is effective, or whether the classroom is managed very well? वो एक second method अच्छा है. Class test में भी सबसे class test is marks, right? Marks बच्चे के अच्छे आए. So, does it prove that I have taught well? He attended well. Or does it mean that I took all my 40 lectures really in a proper manner? तभी तो क्लास टेस्ट में नंबर आए हैं. So I mean that relationship. अभी देखो मेरी बात समझो. All the faculty members ना अभी तक जो establish किए belief system उन्होंने सब पर ढूंढना लगे. वो सब पर ढूंढना. वो कोई belief system सही नहीं थी. But still चलता है दुनिया चल रही है. Right? So what is the best method? मैम जोर से बोलिए. आई एम सो सॉरी चॉकलेट्स खत्म हो गया. फिर एक्टिव राइट फीडबैक किससे? स्टूडेंट टीचर. पढ़िए. वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग. देयर इज नो वन मेथड and no simple method to find out or evaluate whether your teaching is effective, whether your classroom management is effective. No one method. But what that said is absolutely correct. Take feedback. My question is, किससे? The discussion with which I started. 360 degree कैसे होगा? किस से feedback लेना है? Students? Peers? Self? मैम को क्यों छोड़ दिया आपने? मैम तो प्रिंसिपल है, राउंड आती है, गवान तो चिल्लाता रहता है, पढ़ाता भी है। So what is the way out? There is no one method. There is no simple method. So what is the way out? Yes, you people are absolutely correct. Multiple methods of evaluation must be used to find out whether teaching is effective or whether the classroom is managed really well. Multiple methods. What are the multiple methods? What are the multiple methods? What should be the focus of the evaluation methodology? Whatever multiple methods you use. Whatever multiple methods you use. I am going to show what are the multiple methods. But whatever methods you use, focus is too much. If I want to find out whether this teacher is effective or whether the classroom management is really effective, तो ये find out करते समय I'll be using multiple methods. Focus क्या ढूंढ रहे? What are you trying to find out? Performance of whom? And performance in what? Student की performance किसमें? Exam में या learning में? Focus on learning. Last slide ऊपर भी लिखा है, नीचे भी लिखा है. So, in the teaching and learning community, the most effective methodology of evaluation is that which focuses on student learning outcomes. You are aware about course outcomes? Course outcomes syllabus में लिखा है. Course outcome पता क्या होता है? At the end of the course, any particular course, at the end of the course, students will be able to explain the meaning of different terms, apply the concepts learned, use laboratory experience with confidence, will be able to, यानी कि यहाँ बात हो रही है, इच्छा की बात नहीं हो रही है, but he should be able to demonstrate at the end of 45 lectures of my course. 45, अगर zoom किया अगर आपको 45 lecture का syllabus है, right? So what I'm trying to say is, I want my student to not only know knowledge, but to do skill, and while doing or applying the knowledge, he should demonstrate confidence, behavior, knowledge, skills, attitude. और ये जीवन भर करता है, मेरे को छोड़ने के बाद भी और सस्टेनेबल बना रहे हैं. 5 पंचभूतास of learning. Right? So the methodology should focus on student learning outcomes. Right? Now let us see what is the methodology. No single methodology, no simple methodology. Let's see what is the methodology. देखते हैं. The first objective of the section was we started with this objective. Significance of effective classroom management. So why is classroom management effective? Why is classroom management significant? What is the importance of having an effective classroom management? What is the importance? The importance is effective classroom management creates positive learning environment. If the environment is positive, then you can use different strategies. You can use different techniques. You can demonstrate your knowledge so that the students learn. So the importance of classroom management is it gives me the exact or desired environment where I can use different pedagogical tools. I can demonstrate my knowledge and skills to them, so that at the end of the day, they learn what I want them to learn. But the question still remains unanswered. How do I find out whether they are learning or not? How do I find out whether my teaching pedagogy is effective or not? How do I find out whether my classroom management is effective or not? Abhi bhi one answer. But the importance is environment needs to be created first. What I'm trying to say is, गाना गाना शुरू कर दो, आ जाएगी पब्लिक. गाना कहाँ गा लो? रेलवे स्टेशन पे. अब दुबई में ट्रेन निकल रही है. अरे first create environment, because even talent, even skill needs an environment. And remember always, individuals impact the environment or environment impacts the individual. It's the environment that impacts us. बचपन में सुना था a man is known by the company he keeps. So it's the environment that impacts us. So for your students, create the environment and then show your academic prowess, your skill in using different pedagogical tools, your examples, your labs, and then you try to find out, is learning going in the right direction? Is my pedagogical tool effective? Am I an effective teacher? Is the classroom management okay? तो evaluation को होगा बाद में, पहले create कीजिए वातावरण environment. Right? Now, 11 essentials for classroom management. But how do you evaluate whether your classroom management is okay? ये discussion कर रहे हैं. 360-degree appraisal tomorrow. आज का क्या discussion है? Objective number 1. What is objective number 1? What is the significance or importance of classroom management and कैसे करें classroom management? What are the essentials of classroom management? 11 rules, 11 सूत्रीय कार्यक्रम, 11 point program. अंग्रेजी में कहावत है, निपिट इन द बड, शुरू में ही खत्म कर दो. पहली क्लास लेने जाइए, टेल योर रूल्स वेरी क्लियरली. नो मोबाइल फोन्स, नो बुलशिटिंग, नो डिसिप्लिन, नो टॉकिंग आफ्टर आई एंटर, नो मांगना पेंसिल, रबर और इरेजर और स्टेपलर और पिन और पेन और रिफिल. नो मैडम बाथरूम जाना है, मैडम बॉटल भरनी है, मैडम घर से कॉल आती है, एज इफ यू आर द सीईओ ऑफ द कंपनी. मेरे को तो आती नहीं कॉल, तेरे को आती. सेट द रूल्स वेरी क्लियरली एंड टेल देम व्हाट आर द एक्सपेक्टेशन. निपट इन द बट पहले लेक्चर में बता दिए, पहले 15 मिनट में. And what are we focused on? When we come inside the class to teach the very first lecture, see, this is the subject. This is very important for you. Subject की बात करो तो 40 घंटा लेक्चर कर लीजिएगा. पहले लेक्चर में उसको बताइए कि तुम सब्जेक्ट ना बन जाओ, पेशेंट ना बन जाओ. मेरे रॉज रूल्स हैं. These are the rules. This is my expectation. Never violate. ये मैं आपको पहले दिन से बता दे रहा हूँ. Nip it in the bud. Students have a very nasty habit. अगर उसने एनालाइज कर लिया ना, ये 4-5 फैकल्टी जिनके साथ कुछ भी हम बर्दाश्त कर लेंगे. These students target those faculties very badly. और कुछ ऐसे फैकल्टी मेंबर्स जिनके सामने उनका कुछ नहीं निकलता. So clear rules, clear expectations. Set clear, consistent रूल बनते रहने चाहिए. सर आपने शुरू में कहा था कि बात नहीं करनी चाहिए. हाँ 20 क्लासेस होगी, अब चाहे थोड़ी बात करना शुरू करो आपस में. और लास्ट में आता है बेटा बात नहीं की तुमने चिल्लाया नहीं, आपकी लेक्चर आगे चिल्लाओ. नो. सेट द रूल्स क्लियर. रूल्स शुड बी कंसिस्टेंट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग. स्टूडेंट शुड नो व्हाट आर द बिहेवियर दैट इज एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रॉम देम. रूल्स बता दिए. क्यों बताए? Why? Because you have certain expectations. Expectations होती है. What are the expectations? Apply rules. Ensure students understand what is required of them. Excellent academically and behaviorally. What is the expectation? Expectation is whenever I tell you a concept, you are expected to tell me that concept next time whenever I call you in the class. You are expected to summarize what I have taught you at the end of the lecture. You are expected to fill up the assignment sheets regularly. You are expected to submit the assignment sheets before I remind you. You know why? Sir, why? Because I am never going to remind you. And you are going to do so much. Simple as that. Am I clear? Sir, clear. Clear? Sir, clear. Clear? Sir, clear. Nip it in the bud. Strict हो गया. Is okay. Our today's students are not the same as you. Let's be smart over here. Be extra smart. Right? So set the rules clearly, establish rules clearly. But yes, never ever use abusive language. Never ever use capital punishment. Never ever say something derogatory. Never ever hurt anything you. Never ever comment on the background. Never ever comment on the status. कभी नहीं. उसके अंदर भी ईश्वर की आत्मा है. Never ever discuss that. उतना professional behavior. But yes, set the rules very clearly. और rules केवल rules. सिर्फ अनुशासन. अमिताभ बच्चन जी कहेंगे अनुशासन, प्रतिष्ठा, and all those things. So set your expectations clearly. Agree? Yes or no? Hello? Yes or no? Okay. Point number 2. There are 10 students in the class and you start screaming. There are 100 students in the class and you go very low. Your communication should be very effective. Communicate as per the strength of the class. I have seen people speaking on a mic, बिजली चली गई. अभी भी कुछ हुआ लेकिन माइक बंद नहीं हुआ. I have seen many institutions बिजली चली गई, माइक बंद हो गया और टीचर रुक गया. अब बिजली आया तो आवाज पहले आएगी माइक. आवाज पहले आएगी माइक आएगी. मैं तेज बोल नहीं सकती. अच्छा आपका पर्स छीन के कोई भागेगा तो क्या करोगे? एक भीतर बैठा एंड आप क्या बोलोगे? मैं चोरी करना पाऊंगा. लाउड तब देखो रिटर्न कैसे करोगे. So your students observe you very well. When are you weak? When are you strong? What support you need? What support you do not need? For example, if suppose I am speaking on a mic and suddenly the electricity goes off and the mic goes off, I raise my voice so that the class doesn't get distracted. If the class starts getting distracted, khatam. Sir, light आई है? हाँ आ जाएगी. और फिर 10 मिनट में चलिए. No. You have been blessed by 5 senses. Some people have been blessed by 6 senses. Senses was money. This cannot be so powerful in as compared to your voice. Right? So the communication should be clear. Give clear and concise instructions. Listen, somebody told me too much of communication is no communication. बोल रहे हो सुन रहा है तो बोलते रहे सुनना छोड़ दिया. और whatever instructions you have passed, यहाँ सुन के नजर नहीं आते. Concise, clear, and answer one question. ये आपका शरीर है. आपके स्टूडेंट को सबसे बड़ा डर किससे? आपके शरीर के कौन से हिस्से से होना चाहिए? इससे absolutely correct. आंखें. You stare at a student going very well and do not speak. Somebody stares at you and doesn't speak. So you can have experience. Corona, say it. But do not use abusive language. Never. Clarity and then positive tone. If a student has added on something, absolutely correct. You are absolutely right. But I have a different perspective on this. What if you think of these lines? आपने appreciate कर दिया. Different perspective बता दिया. एक स्टूडेंट बार-बार क्वेश्चन पूछता जा रहा है. Absolutely correct, absolutely correct. I think you have a lot of questions. Very nice. I appreciate your energy. Let us give chance for the student. You speak. तो आपने सीरियसली उसको बता दिया. चुप हो यार. तुम्ही को पढ़ा रहा है. क्या करना है मुझे? बट ऐसे कहोगे? नहीं. Positive behavior. And suppose a student who's of vernacular background doesn't is not able to speak English very well, starts speaking proudly. Yes, and I think confidentiality is important. Bit of confidence, yes. But you mentioned one time confidentiality. Does anybody know what is confidentiality? जो हंस रहे तो कहने लगे मुझे पूछो confidentiality क्या होती है? हम तो हंस रहे थे confidentiality बोल दिया. हमें नहीं पता confidentiality क्या चीज होती है. So try to give respect to people who actually try and pass. Use positive tone. You mentioned about positive classroom behavior. Positive classroom behavior will emanate through your positive tone also. I will come more on classroom positive behavior, but positive tone. Active listening. You expect the students to be active listener. Taxi driver की story. और किसी दूसरे को taxi driver सुनना नहीं तो you also need to be active listeners. Sir, I have a question. Can you please tell me? Yeah. And be concise. Yes. Yes. What is the question? Sir, if this is not that, you mean this in that manner. That's the question? Yes. Please sit down. I'll answer this question the next time because I have mentioned this question somewhere else. I'll answer it the next time. Is it okay with you? Okay. But remember that question. Before me reminding you, you should remind me. Okay? Sir, okay. आप क्या पूछो? आपने उसको assurance दे दिया क्वेश्चन इंपॉर्टेंट है लेकिन अभी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं बाद में बताएंगे तुम बताओ कौन क्वेश्चन इंपॉर्टेंट है. But you understood. Then better. Sit down. There are many cases when students are really genuine, and we are not able to recognize between ingenuine and genuine instances. That will give a wrong image from our side. Give a wrong image. So, active listening. Listen to students' concerns. Listen to their feedback. Show empathy. Show understanding. And then, non-verbal cues. Students observe your body language. Students observe your gesture. If you act in a particular manner, students mimicry करेंगे और आपकी उसी तरीके को फॉलो करेंगे. When I used to teach in my early days. When I used to teach, I used to keep my hands on my stomach like this. So जब मेरी mimicry हुई, and I personally enjoy that mimicry. If anybody does my mimicry, मैं पूछता हूँ मेरी mimicry नहीं करता हूँ अपने स्टोर. I used to be that doctor. Still, maybe So a student did the mimicry of the heart attack. Then I came to, maybe heart attack now. इतना गंदा लग रहा है. तो किसने बात करा? हाँ तो सोचो तुम कितने साल से गंदे लग रहे. So when I saw my mimicry, I realized, oh, there was some gestures that was always copied. Amitabh Bachchan, Govinda's eye. All these are points that are very prevalent. But वो फिल्मों में ऐसा करके पैसा कमाते हैं. तुम्हारा तो मैं नहीं पढ़ रहा है. So I became aware of my body language. And teacher comes like this in the class, like this. तमने नीचे ये हो. What's the image that you're creating? And then you say, students, shoulders back. अरे मुक्का कर लिया सर. So students, they pay a lot of attention. And girl students, they are highly impressed by the way the lady faculty dress up. मुझे बताइए कि क्या है? And boy students, they are highly impressed by the way their male faculties show naturalism. भैया natural बनने नहीं आए हैं. Student भी वही सीख रहा है. ओके जिन आपके साथ कर लिया, आप तो क्या सब natural निकलेगा. अभी को दिखा रहा है. That's not good. Decent behavior, professional behavior, and your gestures, your body language, your facial expression. Never ever point towards student. You have to understand this. You have to. Earlier I used to do this. Then I used to replace my body expression like this. You have to do this. It's we who have to do. दोनों ऐसे करते हैं. अब वो देखिए इसको उंगली दिखा रहा है. These are very important ones. Very important. And I will tell you कि आप अपनी mimicry खुद कैसे ले सकते हो. आज सेशन या कल सेशन में मैं पहले बात बता दूँगा. कैसे ले सकते हो. Right? So effective communication. Very important. This is the second mantra of effective classroom management. What is the first mantra of effective classroom management? First mantra, set the rules and expectations clearly. Very first class in the beginning. उसके बाद subject की बात है. Right? And the second, clear and effective communication, which comprises clarity in your voice, tone should be positive, active should be listening, and last, your non-verbal cues, your gestures, your body language, and your facial expressions. Right? Build relationships with the students. What type of relationship? Professional relationship. What comes under professional relationship? Mutual respect. Respect your students. Do not disrespect them. If a student is something who does a very nasty act, who sticks chewing gum on a seat, who bullies a particular student, there is a system in the college that helps you address those concerns. But have you ever seen the judge disrespecting a criminal who has been convicted of murder? Have you ever seen a judge disrespecting a criminal who has been convicted of murder? इससे बड़ा कुछ हो सकता है नहीं. उसने क्या किया है? उसने क्या किया? Why disrespecting that criminal? And always remember one thing. If a student is notorious, इसका मतलब ये नहीं वो हमेशा गलत रहेगा. क्योंकि जब वो सही रहेगा आप समझ रहे हो शेर आया है. So there are chances that notorious students even they are right. शायद वही टर्निंग पॉइंट होगा. क्या आप पहचान नहीं पाए. So that Tapu could never become Valmiki. So very important. और क्या आपको ऐसा लगता है जो हमेशा से सही होता है? Always a sincere student. Always speaks the truth. अगर उसको ये लग गया ना कि आपने उसको पकड़ लिया कि वो सिंसियर है, तो आपको मैनिपुलेट करेगा अपने साथ. Always be on vigilant. Listen. You ma'am, how many years you have been teaching? 8 years. That's 8 years. So I give you 2 propositions. I follow the second one. The first proposition is my teaching experience is 8 years. And my second proposition is my teaching experience is 1 year, 8 times. फर्क है दोनों. But every time is new experience for me. So I cannot write the same book every time and every rough scene. I cannot label a student always notorious. Once a notorious, always a notorious. नहीं. Once a sincere, always sincere. बिल्कुल नहीं. Be very vigilant whatever the student speaks, says. उसने अगर पकड़ लिया, उसने आपको predict कर दिया ना. If the student has predicted you, you're gone. One of my bosses, Dr. Rakesh Reddy, that name I can take, Chiva Dr. Rakesh Reddy, is now I think, pro vice chancellor in some university at Jaipur. You know what he taught me when I became director for the very first time in some other student of my favorite party? He told me, so there will be a favorite gift. I said, sir, he is favorite gift. Never be predictable. And he said, never be predictable. Sir, explain करेंगे? हाँ करता हूँ ना. If your employees predict you, एक रूल्स है. Predict कर दिया मैंने आपको. कभी सच बात तो मैं टेबल पे पहुँच जाइए. क्योंकि तो रूल्स ना. And if the employees predict you, अरे सर बहुत जेंटल है. तो कभी-कभी गलत बातें भी पहुँच जाएंगे तो मैं जेंटलनेस के लिए you go to irritate. They should never be able to predict you. Then I asked him, what was happening in the close life earlier? So what is the way out? Bhagwan, how many years of teaching you have been doing? Sir, 20 years. So it's 1 year and 20 times. ये बात तो नहीं हो सकेगी. मेरा सर मतलब every year is a new year, every student is a new student, every day is a new day, every experience is a new experience. Never ever count upon your prior experiences because that will keep your eyes shut. Every time is an experience. Identify who is the sincere amongst the insincere. Identify who is the insincere amongst the sincere. That's pretty cool. That will keep you alive as a character and you should always remain unpredictable. Then I started doing always telling, अरे भैया thank you कह दो. Sir, I was trying to practice for unpredictableness. आप predict करके मैं thank you बोलूँगा, मैं बिना किए जा रहा हूँ. That's unpredictable. कहना अच्छा सीखा तुमने. Go. And till date, I enjoy doing friendship with him. He has taught me what I am doing. As a director, I need to be predictable. And predictable does not mean sanctity. An active behavior. Cruise. Humble. Gandhiji. तो सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल. Unpredictable means, देखो इसको क्या कहते हैं? हर बार कुछ नया कहते हैं. हर बार कोई नई बात होगी. As per the situation, act करते हैं. That should be that's one point for administrators to do. And for you also, your students should not mind it. Right? Mutual respect, that's okay. Know your students. The first time I became the class coordinator, handling a class of 60 students, the director called me. इधर आइए. आप सबसे एक्सपीरियंस हैं यहाँ. मैं ऐसा लोग कहते हैं. Very good. So, how many students are there in class? Sir, 60 students. Very good. How many girls, how many boys? Yes, sir? How many girls, how many boys? Sir, around 40. What? Sir, 40. नहीं उससे पहले. Sir, students. नहीं उसके बीच में. Sir, around क्या होता है? It is either 42 or not 42. अराउंड क्या होता है? यू नो द एग्जैक्ट नंबर? नहीं सर, उधर चलेगा। वेरी गुड। नो योर स्टूडेंट्स, द काउंट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स इन द क्लास, द बैकग्राउंड टू व्हिच दे बिलोंग, their parents' profession, their upbringing, their background, their learning styles, slow learners, fast learners, slow learners को fast learner के साथ अटैच कर लो, साइड चलता रहेगी क्लासेस होगी, आपका काम भी हो जाएगा। स्लो लर्नर में इलेक्टेड भी महसूस नहीं करेगा, फास्ट लर्नर हवा में उतना उड़ेगा। जब स्लो लर्नर को समझा नहीं पा रहे हो तब क्या है? दिस मीन्स योर नॉलेज विल डोंट हैव द एबिलिटी टू कम्युनिकेट दैट नॉलेज। We use pair technology. We club a slow learner with a fast learner, right? That's what the pedagogical tools that we use. Unless you identify fast learners को तुम क्या करोगे? Give them high grade examples. Slow learner students क्या करोगे? Give them tutorial sessions. Meritorious students को तुम क्या करोगे? Internal extra marks दोगे. Why? You need to snatch the gold medal of the university. To promote them, give them extra assignments, give them hard assignments, give them ambitious targets. And for slow learners, teach them so well in tutorials, extra classes, so that they can at least pass the examination. Right? So know your students. अभी तक तो KYC बताता है. Know your customer. Students are not our customers. They are brand ambassadors, products. So know your students. And then positive reinforcement, what I mentioned. Recognize and praise good behavior. Stars student of the week, most responsive student of the class, most responsive girl student of the class, most sincere student of the class, 100% attendance student of the class. Why? These are positive behavior dynamics. Why don't we do that? We must be doing that. Continue to do that. And then emotional intelligence. Sir, मेरे को चोट लगी, हाँ, सर बहुत दर्द, हाँ, अब भी हो रहा है। सर मेरे को चोट लगी, हाँ तो सर दर्द हो रहा है, हाँ तो सर डिस्पेंसरी क्लास के बाद। So what I want to say is emotional intelligence. First, we need to balance our emotions. Listen, and I'm not saying anything which I have not seen by my eyes. Some other places maybe. Teachers cry in front of students. बच्चा रो रहा है, तेरा काम मेरा काम जैसा हम दोनों की कहानी। So what I want to say is it's always good to think about this. It's always good to be emotionally connected with them. But emotional connection should come with a balance. I'll tell you what. There's a very famous psychiatrist in Kanpur. Very famous psychiatrist. He used to treat all serious cases. एक समय ऐसा है बेचारा रोता हो गया. His friend, I asked his friend, इनको क्या हो गया? Friend बताया, पेशेंट्स के साथ बहुत इमोशनली अटैच हो गए. तो पेशेंट की प्रॉब्लम क्लिनिक से लेकर अपने घर ले गए. और घर में जो प्रॉब्लम है कि यहाँ चल गई, ये प्रॉब्लम यहाँ अभी पार हो गई. So what I'm trying to say is maintain emotional balance and intelligence. Today the entire world is not talking only about IQ. It's talking about EQ, emotional quotient, right? Be aware of students' emotions, how they affect classroom dynamics, address emotional and social issues that may arise, but never ever lose emotional balance by yourself. कभी मत कीजिए. Organization structure. Do you prepare a lesson plan? 45 lectures, 50 lectures. Stick to the lesson plan. Have well-structured lesson plan. Objectives should be clear. Every class should be perfect. Lesson plan should be engaging so that students are less likely to misbehave. I'll tell you how. When I go through the lesson plans of most of my faculties in my career organization, I used to find out, अरे ये तो 20 मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा. You are engaging 45 minutes for this topic. Sir, this topic is so deep. I need to explain each and every example. अच्छा, ठीक है, करिए. जब वो टॉपिक आया, I sat inside the class. Not my usual dealing. I never do that. But I sat inside the class. वो टॉपिक 20 मिनट में नहीं खत्म हो. सही बोल रहे थे. 15 मिनट में होंगे। बाकी क्या चलेगा? स्टैंड अप। यस सर। व्हाट इज द टीचिंग क्लास सेशन? सर दिस इज नॉट हाँ एक्सप्लेन। क्या हो रहा है? टेल मी वन थिंग दैट टचिंग योर हार्ट। हमें नहीं पता होता था कि एक टॉपिक कितने समय में खत्म होगा, क्यों ज्यादा समय दे रहे, क्यों कम समय दे रहे, व्हाट आर यू डूइंग? And then you say classroom is not managed by students are taking a noise. So it should be so smooth, flawless. एक के बाद एक कॉन्सेप्ट, एक के बाद एक कॉन्सेप्ट, एक के बाद एक कॉन्सेप्ट रिवीजन किया, पढ़ किया, पूछा, बैठा रखिए, कॉन्सेप्ट अभी तो बताइए, पढ़ाएंगे, खत्म, क्लास खत्म। It should be so tight. So what I'm trying to say is your classroom lesson planning of every session should be very tight. Try to find out. If suppose you find out that a topic takes less than 45 minutes, in your next lesson plan, इसको कुछ और ऐड कर दीजिए, अगली बार में बच्चों के नेक्स्ट बच्चों के ऐड कर दीजिए। That's how the lesson. Always remember one thing: a student who does not change the CV every 6 months is static. कुछ नहीं हो सकता उसका. And a faculty who does not change the lesson plan frequently, कुछ नहीं हो सकता faculty. Add examples, new things. Try to do corrections, very important. And then classroom layout. I have to conduct a group discussion. For class ऐसे बैठी हुई है, ऐसे करा दो group discussion. I want the students to practice on their notebooks, and it's a huge class. And some students have this tendency. They always leave the first row. Second row is better. Ask the students to come up and sit there. Organize the layout as per your methodology or as per your plan. So organize the physical space in a way that supports learning. And yes, you can also ask students to change their seats. बेटा उठो सर, मैंने तो कुछ किया ही नहीं। I mean, changing seat को लोग नेगेटिव लेके चलते हैं, मैंने कुछ किया ही नहीं। No बेटा, it's not that. Come and sit here. Come and sit here. Enjoy every nook and corner of the class. Sit here and try to understand whether I am audible or not. Sit here. Come and sit here. So you can always do that. The layout should be as per you. Layout should be absolutely as per you, not as per the students. No. And then routines and procedures. You give assignment, you take assignment, you give a class test, you correct the class test, you give some handout, you correct the handout, you do some invigilation. वो routine इतना fix होना चाहिए, there should be no slippage. You give an assignment and then shouting, submit the assignment, submit the sheets. Come, submit. Have you submitted? Have you submitted? No. Do one thing. Students are seated in different rows. इस रो के हेड को बोलो, तुम्हारी जिम्मेदारी है इसको रो के कागज आना चाहिए तुम्हारे पास। तुम उसको दो, उसको दो, उसको दो, उसको दो, उसको दो, और तुम मेरे पास आओ। पूरी क्लास नहीं आएगी मेरे पास। और तुम्हारे पीछे तुम करो, और नहीं किया तो एक मार्क का दूंगा। और सर अच्छी तरह कर लिया तो एक मार्क दे दूंगा। Classroom layout should be as per your the routines and procedures as should be zero time error. फटाफट चीज होता है, otherwise it will be, because then students will find time to talk and then your class will not be effective. Engagement and motivation. How do you keep students engaged? Am I keeping people engaged? I don't think so. Why? I tell you why. 80 days में monologue कर रहा हूँ. So what does engagement mean? It means that you also talk and I talk, both talk. Does that mean engagement? Or is it that engagement कि किसी को सोने ना दूँ? Or is it that engagement is somebody को मैं कहूँ खुली आपको सो रहा है? Or is it engagement that I make you nod every time or this every time? Or is it engagement that I make you write every time? Or is it engagement that I make you static look over my face with such focus that you do not lose contact with my face? Is that engagement? What actually is engagement? है क्या engagement? What is engagement? चलो छोड़ो, किससे engage करना है? Students को किससे engage करना है? Whatever learning is taking place, और उससे engagement होने के लिए students से आपको ऐसे सुन रहा है, that's engagement. If students is listening to you and writing, that is engagement. If student is saying, that is engagement. If student is saying, talking to himself, that is engagement. If students responding, that's engagement. इतने तरीके हैं engagement. How many of you have attended satsang? सत्संग अटेंड किए? फिर क्या है कि भाई मैं बहुत बुरा हो गया? How many of you have attended सत्संग? सत्संग में engagement क्या होता है? मैम क्या होता है engagement? गुरुजी एक मिनट, ये जो आपने कहा है कि ये सब मोह माया है, can you explain? ऐसे करते हो आप? What engagement is that? Attentive listening, the most simplest form of engagement. And then if they ask you in a satsang means a religious discourse. That's what she's asking. A religious discourse where people sit and you are the guru and you are teaching something, right? And most of the gurus do that. Although these days gurus are really bad at teaching, but most gurus do that. So they give you a religious discourse that life is fun, enjoy the maximum out of it, always be in the habit of giving, not be in the habit of taking, all these, noble science lessons. You listen carefully. That is the first form of engagement. Now, if suppose I tell you, today I am going to tell you what is classroom management, but before I tell you what is classroom management, please tell me why did I teach in the last 15 minutes. Then I should stop teaching. Then you should start speaking. That is another form of engagement. And the third form of engagement is, whatever keywords I say, just write it down on the notepad. That is another form of engagement. Nodding is another form of engagement. So what is the point? The point is, keep your engagement proper and keep the motivation level high. How do you do that? Active learning. Incorporate activities that encourage active participation and keep students engaged. Boredom often leads to destructive behavior. I ask certain students to come here. I ask certain students to pick up this pot. I ask certain students to tell me I'm giving chocolate. All these are engagement points. If you want them to speak, but if you want them to listen carefully, ensure that engagement that they listen carefully. Because that's the need of. If you want them to participate, ensure that they come and participate. If you want them to answer questions, ensure that they raise their hands first. It depends. And how do you decide what type of engagement you require? On the spot? No. Lesson plan. In your lesson plan, if you have an activity column, आज मैं क्लास में जाके क्वेश्चंस पूछने का एंगेजमेंट करूंगा, आज मैं क्लास में जाके जवाब देने का एंगेजमेंट करूंगा, आज मैं क्लास में जाके स्टूडेंट्स को सामने बुला के डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन का एंगेजमेंट दूंगा, आज मैं क्लास में जाके सिर्फ उनका ध्यान दूंगा. You should be there in your lesson plan. So, my friends, design your lesson plan in such a manner that it becomes a Bible, a Gita, a Quran, or a Guru Granth Sahib. Your lesson plan is a key. Or after lesson plan, you know how do I do academic audit, sir? How do I do academic audit? When we audit some faculty's performance, मैं कैसे करता हूँ? कि भैया सर lesson plan ले आओ. जी सर मुझे बैठने की जरूरत है नहीं पूछो. सर audit है ना? यानी कि physically present ना? अच्छा. आप जाओ. जरूरत की बुलाओ. I see the lesson plan. उसको देख के समझ आ जाता है कौन सा टीचर क्लास में जस्टिस कर रहा है कौन सा नहीं कर रहा है. उसको देख के समझ आ जाता है. That's how powerful a lesson plan is. Who has written the Bible? Who has written Quran? Who has written Sri Guru Sahib? Who has written Gita? Gita was pronounced by someone. लिखा नहीं का होता है. What I'm trying to say is, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Important ये है what is written in that Gita, what is written in that Quran, what is written in that Guru Sahib. That is important. So what is written in that lesson plan, that is important. That will give me a reflection of what person was involved in making this brilliant lesson plan. And you know, how many of you believe the lesson plan should have a face, a chehra hona chahiye? No. Lesson plan is that of a subject, and a subject teacher can be anyone. Today it will be you, tomorrow it will be you, tomorrow day after tomorrow it will be you. So lesson plan should be transferable. So it not should be Gita as per what you understood, Gita as per what I understand, Gita as per what you understand. Right? So lesson plan should be such that the principal should always think perfect lesson plan for a subject. Now it depends on person to person how do they execute that lesson plan. But at least that planning should be perfect. Right? So variety in teaching methods. Sometimes you use monologue, sometimes you use dialogue. Tell me one thing. I don't know whether in pharmacy or whether in A&M, GM this is possible, but there is a famous pedagogical tool known as role plays. Right? This is role play. In pharmacy also there can be role play where you can set the price of a drug and you can create a scene and you can say that set the price of a drug. It's a generic drug or maybe a cancer drug and all those things, right? Now role plays can be there. There can be a teacher teaching a class. Can't there be two teachers teaching a class? Can't there be two teachers teaching a class at the same time? Same time. I have done that. Two teachers teaching a class at the same time. You know how? You know how? Both those two teachers are doing role play. My subject is accounts. A dry subject. So, one of my friends and I decided to conduct a class. I talked to him, he talked to me. Suresh, what is accounting? Sir, what is the background? My background is now commerce. So it's very difficult for me to understand accounting. Now both of us are talking. And then he said, no sir, your background is not commerce. This means you are the best person to understand what is accounting. How? Sir, you've been accounting since your childhood. How have I been accounting since my childhood? Sir, you've been accounting since your childhood. But how? Sir, tell me, your father used to give you pocket money? What pocket money? 50 rupees per week? Very good, sir. Next week when he used to go ahead to issue another 50 rupees note, what he used to ask? He used to ask you, पिछले हफ्ते 50 रुपए का क्या हुआ? So he was accounting for the money given to you, and you have to account for the money spent by you. What is accounting? What is accounting? Sir, accounting is recollecting. And if you do that recollecting in an orderly manner, there are no books of accounts. अच्छा, ये है accounting, this is accounting. And the students are listening. Two teachers in the class control maintained, two teachers talking to each other, and students witnessing. Excellent methodology. But you know what is the problem point over here? You don't have enough teachers. And every lecture you cannot do that. This particular session I will not be there in the classroom. I will take all the students for a record day. This particular session I will be taking the students to the organic of farming. To identify. Everything should be there in the lesson plan. So now I repeat the question. What is the lesson plan? The lesson plan is a Gita, your Bible, your liberals are Quran. Right? Student-centric learning. Allow students to take responsibility for their learning. There was a director in one of my earlier jobs. Whenever students used to go to him, students used to ask this thing. Sir, can this thing be done in this manner? You tell me. Sir, I think ये प्रॉब्लम ऐसे कर सकते हैं. करो. सर लेकिन इसको ऐसे करने प्रॉब्लम आ रही है. क्यों आ रही है प्रॉब्लम? सर मुझे लगता है प्रॉब्लम इस वेरिएबल को चुनने से आ रही है. ओके. सो व्हाट विल यू डू नाउ? सर मुझे लगता है वेरिएबल बदल देना चाहिए. ओके. विच वेरिएबल? सर दिस वेरिएबल. विच अदर वेरिएबल? सर पहले ये बदल के देखते हैं दूसरा. कर लिया? तो सर नहीं किया है. कब तक कर दोगे? सर मैं टुमारो आई विल. फिर क्या करोगे? सर आपको खाने आऊंगा. ठीक है जाओ. मैंने स्टूडेंट के मामले में रूम से बताया कुछ नहीं, सिर्फ पूछते ही गए. Then that student complained to me. Sir, that was how he always asks questions. Then I went to the director. I asked him, sir, what is this new method? He said, the new methodology of teaching is ask counter questions. The student asks questions, you counter question. थोड़ी सीख के आएगा. क्योंकि मैं हिंदी पकड़ के नहीं सिखाऊंगा. इसलिए यहाँ बैठा हूँ. इस मास्टर्स को मैं इसलिए लिए होगा. तो बहुत बड़ा कंप्यूटर आस्क हिम. मेरे पास आके पूछिए ना प्रॉब्लम कैसे सॉल्व करनी है. पूछे मैंने. और भगवान जो प्रॉब्लम के डिफरेंट डायमेंशंस समझ गया, वो सॉल्यूशन समझ गया. ऐसे वंडरफुल. एंड व्हेन द स्टूडेंट केम टू मी, सर ये कैसे होगा? कैसे होगा? सर ऐसे हो सकता है. ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? सर इससे बढ़िया तरीका हो सकता है. तुम्हें क्यों लगता है इससे बढ़िया तरीका नहीं हो सकता? सर इससे बुरे तरीके तुम्हें क्यों लगता है वो तरीके बुरे हैं? Ask questions. You will find a different dimension. But again the same thing. हमेशा ये करोगे, then you will become a question teacher. You will be labeled as a question teacher. You will बताते ही पूछते रहते हैं. एक दिन बोलो अजीब बात पूछी तो पहला क्यों बोले? So what I'm trying to say is use different methodological tools. Student-centric learning, students should take onus. If you ask questions, they find the answers. This means they are taking onus. If they ask questions, you find the answer. This means you are taking onus. I think you want your students to be stronger than you are, to find the real battle outside. आपको secure है AC PC environment, वो क्या है? Right? Behavior management strategies and your point. How do we enforce positive behavior in the classroom? Use rewards. Star student of the month, best student of the year, star question seeking student, star assignment submission student, disciplined student, and most engaging student, most responsive student. वो जो रिपोर्ट कार्ड में आते हैं 5th क्लास 6th क्लास में नीचे कमेंट्स लिखे रहते हैं, वो कमेंट्स खो गए हैं हायर एजुकेशन में कहीं जाते हैं. Convert those comments into rewards. Reward students. Because if you punish them, say, I don't want to discuss this, but again, see what Israel is doing. वहाँ तो क्या होता है, खत्म कर देंगे वो. फिर को नहीं आएंगे. Punishment से क्या है? ठीक है, एक बार चलेगा, दो बार चलेगा, not always. Encourage positive behavior, but the positive behavior every time is possible. No, I'm not saying that. No one method is possible. Remember, we promised that no one method is possible. So, positive reinforcement, use rewards, use praise, use privileges. Privilege in the sense, there were 3 students who approached me. They said, "Sir, I have a startup project." I said, "तो क्या चाहते हो?" "Sir, 9 to 5 is a study hour." "हाँ." "Sir, 8 lectures I have to attend." "हाँ." "Sir, can you give me 2 lectures free every day? 7th and 8th period." "Sir, we have a 50-minute lecture." So 50 minutes, 100 minutes, how many free days? "Why?" "Sir, I have to work on my startup." "Sir, I will present a project on my startup. If you feel it right, then you give me time. I'll devote 7th and 8th period every day, and I'll come up with some good presentation." Permit the regulation. Be flexible. 6 periods does the student study. Library period was post period में मैंने कहा नहीं करो फिर काम जो तुमने. Then the student showed his presentation. Excellent starter. Excellent starter. Only possible because of 7th and 8th period. हम बात कर रहे हैं नियम, प्रतिष्ठा, कानून. So sometimes what happens that you need to be very, you need to give privileges to students. Give them privilege. If suppose they deserve that privilege, and let them prove that they deserve that privilege. You do not put in your foot in that. Let them prove. जो भूखा होगा ना रोएगा, तो रोएगा उसी को खाना खाएगा. Many times, I don't know whether it has happened with you or not. Many times when you give something to someone, कभी ऐसा हो उसने लेकर खाना कर दिया, नहीं होने चाहिए. जब होता है तो लगता है यार क्या सोच के दे रहा था, तो जरूरत ही नहीं थी. Never feed a filled up stomach. Always feed an empty stomach. First try to find out whether the stomach is empty or not. अगर चिल्ला रहा है, माँ बाप हमारे पास आ रहा है, समझ लीजिए requires feeding. Then feed. Open announcement मत करना. देखो, I am ready to give you 7 and 8 period. Whosoever has a startup project नहीं भी होगा तो बना देंगे. नहीं भी होगा तो बना देंगे. Don't do that. And then consequences. Tell the students. अंजाम बता दो students. You remember the very first rule to set the rules and expectations. The very first, tell them the consequences. अगर तुम नहीं सुधरे, if in CD2 classes to तुम्हारे marks पहले से भी खराब आ गए, if suppose your attendance falls below 60% or 70%, if suppose your misbehavior repeats in the class, बेटा तैयार है. These are the consequences. Because in the other point when you are using rewards, praises, privileges, then use the carrot stick approach. ऊपर carrot है, नीचे stick. Tell them the consequences. Implement a system of appropriate consequences for negative behavior. Making sure that the students understand that if suppose I do a negative behavior, I do a negative behavior, this is the action that the college is going to take against me. There is a statement in Ramcharitmanas. Bhai din hoye na preet. It's very important. Bhai dikhaiye. करिए मत, दिखा दीजिए, ये काम कर सकते. Remember, you promise yourself to be unpredictable now. Never ever be a mama. You always get mama's voice and daddy's princess every time. Always be unpredictable teacher. पता नहीं किस समय क्या कर दे, किस समय क्या नहीं कर दे. Be unpredictable. But core values inside should be intact. And what is the core value? You are here not to educate the students. You are here to make the students learn. Right? De-escalation. Suppose some escalation takes place in the class. झगड़ा दो स्टूडेंट्स के बीच में कभी-कभी कुछ हो जाता है. De-escalate. Sometimes there is student who keeps on throwing questions at you. You get a bit irritated. De-escalation. Jump, बैठ जाओ. मत पूछो मुझसे. No, don't do that. De-escalation. De-escalation कैसे होगा? How to do that? Use techniques like redirection. Absolutely correct. Whatever question you ask, you ask 3 questions. The 4th question is also important. But right now, let me tell you the other concepts which may help you to understand the answer to the 4th question. Just hold on. Now let us come back to the concept. What was concept of redirection? इतना fast करो तो लोग ये क्या हुआ है? 14 क्वेश्चन ना हो गया मेरा. You need to be a master in that. Ego पे मत करो. Ego का full form पता है आपको? EGO. Evil, शैतान evil. Going on and on and on and on inside you. शैतान चलता रहता है. Never show you. Take it as a positive challenge. Try to divert the class. You see, Donald Trump, most hated politician that the world ever loved. कैसे प्रेस में को प्रेस वालों को कहता है? Sit down, okay, excuse me, okay, you, excuse me, sit down, you. Positive behavior. यहाँ पे नेता क्या है? इसे बॉडीगार्ड को देखिए, बॉडीगार्ड साथ में भाग ले आना. Positive behavior. So, de-escalation. Use techniques like redirection, soft voice, soft but stern. Stern मतलब कोई आपका फायदा ना हो. For example, if a student makes noise. So one portion of class makes noise. Excuse me. Silence, please. Maintain silence. ऐसे. कौन शो में जा रहा है? Who is talking? Then you will do blah 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 and the student will do ha ha ha. आंखों का डर. And remember, first class, set the rules very clearly. So, consequent this de-escalation, redirect, use a soft voice or change your activity. If some activity is creating some confusion, stop that activity. Tell them we'll continue the activity next term. Let us come back to the topic. This means that activity is not contributing to class development. To discontinue. Do not be so obsessive for any method. ये कैसे गलत चला गया? I thought it so well at my home. I'll try it again. So what if the class makes noise? Never do that. There's something wrong. Right? Classroom interventions. If suppose there are challenges inside the class, if suppose one student is complaining that this student is actually disturbing me, I am not comfortable sitting with this student, or maybe this student was the same who was with me in the earlier school, and now again I did not have a good relationship with him. Do not ignore such problems because such things may take a serious shape. Try to understand, go to gravity of the case, do some personal conversations, or maybe change your seats. But whenever you do that, take your management into confidence. Because every student does in the same manner. पता है जो बच्चे यहाँ बैठे थे, यहाँ बैठे आ गए, and then change of section and all those things not allowed. So always manage a class in such a manner that you address the problems, but your aggression should not itself become a problem. ये student इन्हीं को जाने, ये teacher इन्हीं से close है, he is a favorite of these, he always addresses their concerns. Never. If a teacher is labeled as partial, your image is closed. आप खत्म हो गए. Never ever appear to be partial. Never ever. You know what? The same college where I am a director, my son has to go to that college. And I punished him. I imposed a fine on him because there was a switchboard that was damaged. And nobody was identified who damaged the switchboard. The camera was here. The switchboard was just beneath the camera, could not capture. So the fine was imposed on the entire class. So it was a 500 rupees switchboard, and there were around 10 students in the class at that time, 50 rupees per student. Then there were faculty members who approached me. This is how the faculty members try to take advantage. सर क्या हो गया? छोड़ नहीं सर, क्या मतलब? आपको लगा ऐसा थोड़ी बाकी को बर्दाश्त, बाकी को छोड़िए। यू नो व्हाट आई रिप्लाइड? लुक मिस्टर, तुम थे क्या क्लास में? नहीं सर मैं कहीं था, क्योंकि तुम होते तो 50 कौन 11 हो जाते, तुम तो फाइनल आता है। सलाह देने के लिए थैंक यू, निकली बात नहीं पोस्ट एंड शाम तक आता था क्या काम किया, फाइन को ERPs मैंने पे किए। So what I'm trying to say is never ever be partial. And then let me tell you, please appreciate. If your child studies in the same institution which you are heading, it becomes a complex issue. The very problem क्या है? He joined first, I joined later. I was not even supposed to join the institute, but he joined first. 6 months after 6 months of his study over there, I joined. But that's how things are. And then he has also taken the necessary discipline, not to take advantage of someone known as his father, who is there as a director. Then you have to set the rules very clearly. So no, घर में माँ father माँ नहीं, ध्यान रखना पड़ता। You have to set the rules very clearly. And I'm proud that I have been able to do that. Still 1.5 more years to go. But I do that. That's how I have to. So similarly, you don't have to be partial to students. No way. So classroom interventions, if you have to intervene to get the class order complete, do that. Time management. Never be very fast, never be very slow. Never be very fast, never be very slow. Always be on time. 2-5 मिनट 10 मिनट ऊपर नीचे, that's okay. पर ये तो 45 मिनट क्लास आप कर रहे हो। 45 मिनट क्लास में 10 मिनट हमारे अटेंडेंस ले रहे हैं। 35 मिनट बचा, 5 मिनट लगे घड़ी देखने में, क्लास खत्म क्यों नहीं हुई? तो पढ़ाया 30 मिनट, और 30 मिनट में क्या पढ़ाया जाता है? So what I'm trying to say is, set the rules clearly. The moment the class starts, within 3 minutes I'm going to finish the attendance. Sir, मैं तो बाथरूम में गया, आप तो करो ना बेटा। I told it very clearly in the first class itself. Within 3 minutes I take the attendance. And sir, then after 5 minutes I'm not going to allow entry. And sir, then it all depends on you. Set the rules very clearly. But when there is a genuine thing, student gets fainted in their class, comes to your class, be emphatic. Rules can be standard, but they need to take an exceptional turn if the situation so demands. Right? So, pacing transitions. When you do transition, for example, you are using projector, suddenly the projector goes off, and suddenly you become correct. मेरे को तो जो बोला था स्लाइड में लिखा था मुझे बताइए, always practice or rehearse those slides. Rehearse those slides. If suppose the light goes off, nothing is there on the projector, you should always have that in mind. Okay, fine, technology not always supports you. This is the instance where the technology itself is not supporting you. That's okay, till the light comes, लिखो. That's in the next slide, that's in the next slide. और जैसे लाइट आ गई, वापस उस लाइट पर नहीं. Proceed. If you are having a good slides, पढ़ लेंगे. If you are not having a good slides, तब भी पढ़ लेंगे. Leave it upon the students. कुछ तो चलता है, right? So rehearse, do the transitions really well. ये अगर बंद भी हो गया ना, I know how to finish a presentation. You know why? I have a strong memory. ऐसा नहीं एक चिट में लिखवा मुझे. So what I do, I always carry a chit. Why? I write topics. उसके अंदर का क्या होता है पढ़ाई नहीं होता. Sequence मुझे याद है. In the morning also I use a chit. I never had a presentation. Here also I have a chit in my pocket, in my wallet. Something goes wrong, I can take it. Sequence follow होना चाहिए. वो तो चलेगा. Prioritizing tasks. Learn. Tell the students how to prioritize, and you yourself prioritize. Classroom management के task का prioritization. Suppose you start with something. चलो class has started, very good. Now submit your homework assignment. Now, if it takes 15 minutes or 10 minutes to submit a homework assignment, तो पहले 10 मिनट कुछ नहीं होना है क्लास के अंदर. All students will start talking to each other. So do these trivial activities at the end. क्लास खत्म हो भाग भाग के आने को शुरू में असाइनमेंट लीजिए, मेरा असाइनमेंट लीजिए. क्लास को डिस्टर्ब मत कीजिए. When it's class, let it be class. There was once a accounts person who entered my class. Sir, हमें तुम कौन क्या काम था? मैंने अच्छा मेरे को बताओ क्यों आए आप? Sir, there are 3 students who not paid the fees. तो सब क्लास उठाने आए हैं. क्रेन हो क्या? उठा रहे हो क्लास? मैं सर ऐसे मैं क्लास बता रहा है. स्कूल सब कुछ नहीं किया है. क्लास बता रहा है. मैं ऐसे ये तो समथिंग सिमिलर टू शाहरुख खान चकने इंडिया. ये कितने मिनट है? सर 50 मिनट है. तो उतना मिनट कर रहे सर 10 मिनट का. कितने मिनट में चेक करेगा? सर ये 40 मिनट से भी नहीं. वो मेरे हैं, हमारे नहीं है. जब भी टीच सर देखो उसे फीस भी पे की है, नहीं पे की है, मेरी जिम्मेदारी वो तुम्हारे पास आएगी. Let me teach. I'm a part of the system. I not violate the system. You have a problem, the students do not meet you. शुरू में आते चले आते आप समझा नहीं पाते. I will accept them to let me teach. So what I'm trying to say is your prioritization should be very clear. That is my class. Let me handle my class. Right? Now conflict resolution. जरा सा देखिए क्लास में कुछ मरमर हो रहा है. Something happened in the college and the students are disturbed. Students are looking, students are disinterested. Students are not wanting to learn something. जैसे ही आपने नोटिस कर लिया कुछ क्लास में गड़बड़ है, तुरंत प्रोएक्टिव होना. Address potential conflicts before they escalate. They should involve mediating disputes between students or agency class officers. If you find that the earlier teacher who entered the class, he had a very rough experience with the same set of students. The earlier teacher left the class, now you are entering, and that problem is still continuing in your class. And then you get this feedback that बच्चे disturb है class के अंदर. Then immediately you have to do some problem solving step. क्या problem solving step? क्या हुआ? So ये अच्छा कैसे? Very bad. De-escalate. तुरंत ध्यान रखना हो. And you think that they are disturbed and you will teach, they will learn. इतने बड़े नाम स्टूडेंट हैं, इतने महान नाम टीचर हैं. What should I do? You should at the back of the hand, under your sleeves, you should always have 1 or 2 activities, icebreaker activities. एक काम करते हैं. Today is going to teach very important concept of cost of capital and capital capitalization. But आज नहीं पढ़ाएंगे इसको. I have very interesting activity with all of you. चलो उसको करते हैं. उसको करना शुरू करिए ताकि आपकी प्रॉब्लम भी पूरी होनी ना रहे, ताकि पिछली क्लास में हुई. These are rare circumstances. But when they happen, you should always have plan B ready. नहीं जो भी हुआ लड़े मरे आपस में. मैं तो पढ़ाऊंगा. वो अक्खड़ सब हो जाता है, क्योंकि पढ़ाना जिनको है वही डिस्टर्ब है. लर्निंग कहाँ होगी? एक बार में कहाँ क्रिएट किया. So these are rare circumstances. But when they happen, take the cue. Be very proactive. Don't be reactive. Fairness. Handle conflicts without being showing that you are partial. You should never ever be partial. ये केवल बच्चों के लड़कों की सुनते हैं, ये केवल लड़कियों की सुनते हैं, ये केवल इन टीम की सुनते हैं. Very bad education for a teacher. Restorative practices का मतलब जब घटना घट गई, सब कुछ हो गया, दूसरी क्लास में आप आए, आप एक साथ कोई घटना घटी, then you come to next class, you make the students understand, you teach them 40 minutes and last 5 minutes, बेटा एक बात करनी है आपको कुछ. जी सर बताइए. When I was here in the last class, there was some problem that took place. I am dedicating the last 5 minutes for discussing. Let us reflect upon what happened. Why that problem arose? Tell me. I was harsh. I gave you timeline for something, assignment which was very less. I understand. But tell me one thing. When you join companies, are you going to think that you will get timelines as per your comfort? I may be wrong. I accept that. I brought you out from the comfort zone, you get this uncomfortable and you regarded it that manner. That's okay. But in the real life, do you think that will help? Tell me one thing. Today I can accommodate your request. Do you expect the world to accommodate your request? Do you think that adaptability is something that we should learn from the classroom itself? Do you think that conflict management, problem solution, remaining cool, not panicking is something that we should learn inside the class? Now it's time to do that. And if you want to share something, please do share. I am all ears to you. I am here to listen. I expect you to listen to me, and I am also here to listen to you. Tell me something. What is the problem? Talk to your students. Restore the relationships. Relationship will not have the same level every time. They are going to be ebbs and flows. They are going to be ups and downs. Every time you cannot be a goody teacher. Every time you cannot be a very teacher. It's going to be up and down. Restore. But listen, if the students are immature, इनके बात करने की जरूरत नहीं है. And whether students are mature or immature, कैसे पता चलेगा आपको? KYS, know your students. जानिए अपने students. पिछली क्लास के जो लोग क्या है उनसे पूछिए. Ask them. कौन है इनमें से नंबर वन? उसी को टारगेट करो. Very wrong. कौन है इसमें से होशियार? उसी से कहूँगा नोट्स बनाओ. Very wrong. अच्छे स्टूडेंट्स आपके लिए अच्छे नहीं है. They are good for everybody. And you overburden them by giving them your work. ये करके आओ, ये करके आओ, ये रजिस्टर बना के आओ. नहीं क्या आप करते हो? Maybe I might have had bad experiences in my life. मैंने देखा है. अब बुरा स्टूडेंट ने सबके निशाने पे आ गया और बुरा बन गया और सबसे पहले तो तुमसे बुरा बना. Then Surah Ram says never ever always have restorative practices. Then only you will be able to handle your class. Adaptability, flexibility. सबने कहा है लेसन प्लान बाइबल है, लेसन प्लान कुरान है. मैं तो लेसन प्लान से टच से मस्त नहीं हूँ. I will not change from my lesson plan at any moment of time. No. Be adaptable. Be flexible. Try to change your learning style. Try to change your behavior. If the class wants you to change the behavior. If the class wants you to go slow, go slow. If the class wants you to go fast, please go fast. If the class wants you to go slow at times and go fast at times, do both the things. और क्लासरूम को एक बात बता दीजिएगा, ये सेवा का संगीत माला नहीं है. ये फरमाइशी कार्यक्रम चल रहा है. जो तुम कहोगे वो बात कहेंगे, दिन को रात को रात कहेंगे, ऐसा नहीं है. Rules are those that I have said. Performances will vary every day. The rules are the same. So if you don't want to study, in many times in my class, I teach financial management, another dry subject, company accounts, another dry subject. In my class, many times students say, "Sir, आज पढ़ने का मन नहीं कर." Usually in the last periods. Last period में अंतिम grade में जाते हैं समझूंगा. Sir, आज पढ़ने का मन नहीं कर रहा. Very good. I am so happy that you said that आज पढ़ने का मन नहीं कर रहा. You know why? Why, sir? Because आज ही मुझे पढ़ाने का मन कर रहा है. तो ये मेरी बात आप मानेंगे नहीं, मैं नहीं कहूँगा. I said, today I am very interested to teach you. You are saying you are interested to learn. So let us do one thing. When I teach and you do not learn, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So क्या? Again, plan B. एक तो activity speech होनी चाहिए. मैं क्या कराता हूँ? Okay. Divide yourself into groups. Group में आ गए. Very good. Now, we are teaching about financial management. We are teaching about finance. What is the hottest topic these days? Sir, what is the hottest topic? Amitabh Bachchan, Kalki Part 2. No, what is the hottest topic these days? पता नहीं sir. One nation, one election. हाँ sir, one nation, one election. Very good. Divide yourself into groups. Now tell me, is one nation, one election good for the Indian economy? Will it contribute to increasing the GDP of our country as paid by saving expenditure? Sir, सर दोनों कैसे टाइम से डिवाइड योजना दो कहने का कहने को करा दिया हमने, इसको इकोनॉमी से रेट करा दिया, फाइनेंस की वो क्लास नहीं पढ़ाई मैंने, बजट उनको एहसास करा दिया. नेक्स्ट क्लास का धुआं लाऊंगा, लेकिन ये क्लास उनके हिसाब से सिवा का संगीत माला की तरफ से फेस नहीं मिली. यू नो अदरवाइज व्हाट यू वुड हैव डन? कोई मोबाइल निकाल देता, कोई किसी के बाल खींचना होता, कोई किसी बाल बढ़ाना होता, कोई किसी के वो क्रॉस एंड जीरो जो होता है वो खेलना होता, कोई टेबल के ऊपर ड्राइंग बना रहा होता. प्रिंसिपल साहब निकलते हैं, क्या हो रहा है? सर बस यही हो रहा है. वेरी बैड. So if the students want freedom, give them restricted freedom. And how a restricted freedom has been given? Always have 2 to 3 activities under your skills. Always be very alert. Right? So, adjusting plans, responsive to classroom dynamics. Have you ever observed, whenever you tell students tomorrow I am going to teach a very important concept, or class के लिए बच्चे क्या बोलेंगे? Tomorrow I am going to do some fun activity. Class के लिए भूल जाते हैं. You announce a test. कुछ बच्चे क्या बोलते हैं? You do not announce a test, and then you announce a test. उसके सिर दर्द हो जाता है. ये क्लासरूम क्यूज आपके बारे उनके बारे में नहीं बता रहे हैं, ये हम लोग बारे में बता रहे हैं. So be responsive to classroom dynamics, be observant to class energy, adjust the pace, adjust the tone, adjust your methodology accordingly. Always observe what's the classroom. A student always sits here. लगातार यहाँ बैठा है, आज वहाँ बैठा है. ऐसा क्या है? उधर क्यों बैठा है? Always be very observant about the class. Never come like this and never go like this. पता नहीं चलेगा कि हो क्या है क्लास में. I'll come more on this later. Not now. Later. Classroom environment. Girl students should feel very safe in the classroom. Boys इतने नहीं bully होने चाहिए कि girls कहें कि क्लासरूम का environment खराब है. Boys ऐसी बातें क्लासरूम में करते हैं. इंटरवल्स भी करते हैं, लंच ब्रेक भी करते हैं, कमेंट्स पास करते हैं. एंड बॉयज फॉर देम द क्लासरूम एनवायरनमेंट शुड बी सेफ. व्हाई? देयर आर सर्टेन बॉयज दैट आर रियली गुड एंड देयर आर सर्टेन बॉयज दैट आर बुली. अच्छे लड़के भी लड़कों की शिकायत करते हैं, ये खराब नहीं, मेरे को बोलते रहते हैं. सो योर क्लासरूम शुड बी वेरी सेफ. अनलेस दैट योर स्टूडेंट्स फील सेफ, दे विल नॉट फोकस ऑन इट. यू कैन नॉट मेक देम फोकस ऑन इट. कैसे क्या करोगे? What will you do? Identify those students, the bully students who listen one thing. In organizations, there are 2 types of employees. One who are thankless, one who are thankful, one who are sincere, one जब आप उनको जान भी देखो ना very sincere. दोनों में इंक्रीमेंट मिलता है. दोनों में इंक्रीमेंट मिलता है. बताओ कैसे मिलता है? जो थैंकलेस होता है, जो इनसिंसियर होता है, आई एडवाइस ऑल द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स, गिव देम वर्क इंक्रीमेंट. इतना काम दे दो, इतना काम दे दो, कम से कम शैतान ना बन जाए. फिर क्या है? खाली दिमाग शैतान का होता है. गिव देम वर्क इंक्रीमेंट, तब उनको समझ में आएगा. और जो बहुत सिंसियर होते हैं, give them financial increment, appraisal increment, appreciation increment, and best wishes increment. अगर नहीं होना चाहिए. Similarly, they are students. They are bully students and not bullying students. Bully students और not bullying students के लिए एक ही कमान, एक ही बेल्ट, एक ही स्टिक नहीं होती है. Bully students हो जाए. Bully students को ऐसा काम दीजिए जो कि उनको और बुरी न बनाए. क्या काम नहीं? क्लास बार पढ़े जाओ, 100 बार लिखो आई एम सॉरी, ये असाइनमेंट करके आना, ये होमवर्क करके आना, मदर फादर को बुला के आना, 2 थप्पड़ मारना आपसे, सस्पेंड कर देंगे, फाइन लगा देंगे, स्कूल से निकाल देंगे. What will you do? क्या करोगे? Sorry? Always give load them with work. इतना काम दे दो, इतना काम दे दो, टाइम इतनी शॉर्ट कर दो कि कवर हो जाएगी. And then they say that ये विड्रॉ कर लिए, कभी जीवन में कुछ दो काम क्लास में. But if you talk in the same manner, you do the same thing जो वो कर रहे हैं, नहीं कर सकता. You may win 1 or 2 times, every time you not be able to win. So it's very important you deal with them constructively. Give them work increment. And for your students who are sincere, give them extra time increment, tutoring increment. Tutoring मतलब coaching नहीं, tutorial classes. Give them good environment increment. Sometimes give them marks increment. They will get marks. Right? Physical organization, welcoming atmosphere, physical organization. Keep the classroom well organized. Suppose the classroom is dirty, students make the classroom dirty. Always make them realize the classroom needs to be very clean. Contact the administration. Make the students clean the benches once in a week. Japan does that. Once in a week, the entire school is closed और हर students का आया था अपने bench पे छोड़ करो. देखो दूसरे की bench को साफ करने बोले बुरा मान जाना. Ego है ना, evil going on and on and on. अपनी bench दूसरी साफ करने को गलत नहीं है. There are students who scribble something there. बोलो ये लोग साफ करो उसको. मंदिर को वो साफ करो. पता नहीं घर से तेजाब ले आए साफ के लिए सब मैं गए होंगे. So give them something साफ करो. Work increment दीजिए. Give them work increment. And yes, you only are giving work increment. Rest of the teachers are doing. You will be targeted. It's always good. Seek the support of the management. Talk to the management. Talk to the principals. They have more wisdom than us. They will guide us. Last point. थोड़ा खुद से सोचो और बेहतर क्लासरूम कैसे मैनेज की जा सकती है. सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन, रेगुलर सेल्फ असेसमेंट. Am I managing the class really well? Is everything going right in my class? Are students always attentive? Am I always logical? Is it there the friction between me and the students increasing day by day? बगल वाले टीचर क्या कर रहे हैं? उनकी क्लास में कुछ होता ही नहीं. उनसे पूछ ले, नहीं मेरा ईगो हट जाएगा, ईमेल गोइंग ऑन एंड ऑन. उनको लग जाएगा क्यों बगल वाले भी माशाल्लाह क्या हो गया तुम्हारी क्लास में कुछ हो रहा है क्या. मैच्योरिटी अनफॉर्चुनेटली एज से नहीं आती है. मैच्योरिटी कम्स विद एक्सपीरियंस एंड विजडम. And good experience often comes with bad experience. कोई सलाह दे रहा है, मजाक मत करो. And listen, आज जिस पे हंसोगे ना, लॉक कर रहा हूँ, वो भी आपके पास आ जाएगा. सब कुछ यही रहता है. सलाह देगा, सलाह देगा. This is how I make my class. You want me to support? You want me to observe my class? You want me to handle the class? Maybe the same method of mine doesn't work into class. This means the class requires correction on you. बात करो ना, peers को आपस में दे, colleagues को आपस में. How many hours हो रही है? More than 1/4 of a day. More than 1/4 of a day. 1/4 of a day क्या 6 घंटा है? 6 घंटे से थोड़ा ज़्यादा समय करो. और कुछ लोग हॉस्टल मैम ने बताया जो मेरे people who are hostel residents हो रही है, सारा सभी हो ऐसे क्या आपस में रखना कि you see you should behave with the person in such a manner जब रास्ते अलग हो जाए, वो तुमको मिले, वो तुमको मिले, तुम उसको मिलो, तो उसकी नजर तुमको देखनी नीचे, तुम्हारी नजर उसको देखनी नीचे ना. ऑलवेज ऐसा रिलेशनशिप. क्या है कंपटीशन? क्या है? नो कंपटीशन. यू आर टीचर, दैट fellow is also teacher. सीक फीडबैक. जब तक मांगना ना जाए फीडबैक दो नहीं, और जब मांग लिया जाए मैच्योरिटी से फीडबैक. और फीडबैक किसी को देते समय अपनी बड़ाई ना करो. मैं तो ऐसे करता हूँ, नो, तुम्हें कैसे करना चाहिए. सो सी फीडबैक, गिव फीडबैक, प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट, वर्क फॉर योर प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट. It is said if you read 1000 lines, you will remember 100 lines, you will write 10 lines. You read 10 lines, you will remember one word and you will write that one word. Sorry, नहीं आता. So read a lot, study a lot. Classroom delivery पर आ जाए. Your classroom delivery will change. You will be so informative. Students कहना सुनो बंद करो इसकी सुनो. पापा भी चला तो ये बात करते हैं कि गोल्ड रेट के साथ साथ ये भी बढ़ता जा रहा है. ये रोज ही बेटर है. और क्लासरूम में 40-45 मिनट का 40 मिनट पढ़ा के 5 मिनट जनरल नॉलेज दे दो. विल बी द हाईली एक्सपेक्टेड टीचर. हाईली एक्सपेक्टेड टीचर. टॉक अबाउट करंट इश्यूज. सुनो, इंडिया is a country of politics, religion बॉलीवुड और क्रिकेट, इसको छोड़ के सारी बात करते हैं। इंडिया से कंट्री ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स, बॉलीवुड, रिलीजन और क्रिकेट, इसको छोड़ के बाकी बातें करता है। करंट अफेयर्स, ट्रंप आ जाए क्या होगा, कमला हैरिस आ जाए क्या होगा, वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन से क्या होगा। डू नॉट टॉक अबाउट वेरी पॉलिटिकल, वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का मतलब इकोनॉमिक एजेंडा, पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा बात करना फंसा हुआ। Never do that. This country is no longer the same as it used to be when we were as previous rulers. अभी country वैसी ही है। You have a notepad with you? क्या बात है? You have a working pen? माशाल्लाह। Write down 5 things that you think make you an effective teacher. 5 ऐसी चीज लिखी है अपनी डायरी में that you think make you an effective teacher. 10 मिनट की एक्सरसाइज इसके बाद खत्म। Write it and listen. Enjoy the this activity. Write 5 things that you think make you an effective teacher. लिखिए and hurry up. 1 word, 2 word, 3 word, a phrase. 5 things that you think make you an effective teacher. Sir, you have received tablets and smartphones of your students. Tablets and smartphones जो गवर्नमेंट से आते हैं, हाँ, डीएम ऑफिस से फोन आता है, and for that post है smartphone और tablet को रिसीव करो। या हरिया हरिया हरिया।
हाँ हेलो, हाँ और 10 मिनट।
We'll continue this activity to grow, but आधी मजेदार चीज अभी करवा लेते हैं। I'll play something that बाहुबली 1, बाहुबली 2, कल्कि 1, कल्कि 2, आधा मजा अभी देंगे, आधा मजा कर लेंगे। पहले तो आप लिखो ये 5 things that make you an effective teacher, and talk only about yourself. What makes you an effective teacher? Another 2 minutes. अपने मैनेजमेंट में सोचना पड़ेगा। Don't worry, you know you think about. मैंने तो अपना ही पास लिख दिया। I think मैं क्रिकेट टीचर because I am भगवान 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 भगवान। अरे अरे लिख दिया मैडम, you are true, you are always number 1, very good. True, लिख दिया पक्का। Okay, now I'll start with you. What are the 5 things that you have written for yourself that you consider yourself as an effective teacher? Those 5 things. Please read out them.
Regular self-evaluation.
Regular self-evaluation. Very good. Using new strategy.
Second one, use update my current knowledge, apply new change.
Regular updation. That's the second point.
Try to find
Try to find.
lesson from each experience.
Okay. Take insight from each and every experience you encounter in your life. Good.
Effective
concentrating on preparing an effective lesson plan and trying to tweak it every time whenever required. Last, if you manage the different behaviors of students, whether positive behavior, negative behavior, you should use the appropriate strategy. Map the following, right? Match the following. Very we can take one response from here. Any of the main faculty members, yes, you raise your hand. Try. Absolutely correct. You need to be punctual in your life as a faculty member. That makes you effective. That is the starting of making you effective. Good.
Management class and healthy environment.
Okay, you have to manage your class and even you focus on class management and you need to maintain the environment very healthy so that learning takes place.
पता चले बच्चे वहाँ हंस रहे हैं टीचर खड़े हैं।
हाँ ठीक है ये उल्टा भी हो सकता है टीचर हंस रहा है बच्चा खड़ा है
वो हो सकता है
मेरे तरह मैं हंस रहा हूँ आपको बैठे हो
तो हो सकता है ना।
ओके एब्सोल्युटली एनी वाइस वर्सा कोई हो सकता
क्वालिटी डिलीवर कीजिए।
है ऑफ कोर्स डिलीवरी शुड बी ऑफ क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड राइट थर्ड
बच्चे को समझ आना चाहिए और क्वालिटी होनी चाहिए।
करेक्ट फोर्थ
उसके बाद उसका रिवीजन
रिविजन क्लोजिंग द लूप क्लोज करना यू डू ब्ला 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 विदाउट नोइंग कि हुआ क्या तो क्या करना
सर लास्ट में रिजल्ट आना चाहिए।
रिजल्ट आउटकम और दे शुड बी आउटकम बेस्ड जो भी हम कर रहे हैं आउटकम होना चाहिए
आपने डिलीवर किया बच्चों को।
Absolutely correct. He deserves a round of applause. He deserves a round of applause. One feedback from here quickly. आपने इसको कितना मार्क देंगे? Yes. आप हाँ देखिए. Surprise. Yes, important. But मैम इतना ना सोचिएगा कि वो सेंटेंस बताया था ना. The God. Absolutely correct. You have knowledge. Explanation with example that point this gentleman started with very good. Communication is good. चार है पांचों कौन एक भी मैंने होता है आंसर लिख दीजिए checking myself on all these 4 points self reflection. Okay, lady next to you and you take 5 points. Preparedness very good. Very good. With which can start? Knowledge absolutely correct. Absolutely very important. कॉन्फिडेंस शुड बी देयर आप बच्चों को चाहते हैं कॉन्फिडेंट हो तो आप तो ये करे वेरी गुड फीडबैक सेल्फ फीडबैक और मेरी फीडबैक फ्रॉम योर सॉर्ट ऑफ राइट स्टूडेंट्स ठीक गुड बैठ जाइए वन लास्ट मैं आप बताइए फिर मैं एक वहां से लेके खत्म करूंगा सॉरी रेगुलर लर्नर यू शुड बी रेगुलर लर्नर अ फैकल्टी इज फर्स्ट अ स्टूडेंट जिस दिन आपके अंदर का स्टूडेंट मर गया है you're finished. जी.
Good listener.
Good listener, absolutely correct.
Sir, always available for real problems.
Always available for real problems. There is genuine problems for the students.
Polite and consistent.
Absolutely correct. Polite and consistent. कभी पल में माशा पल में रोशा ये नहीं होना चाहिए. You should be consistent behavior, right? Discipline. Good. बैठ जाइए. 5 पॉइंट लिखिए ना. आपने 5 लिख दिया. जो 2 सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कम मानते हो उसको काट दो जो 2 सबसे लीस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है उसको काट दो जो सबसे लीस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट उसको काट दो हरी अप आई हैव टू गो एंड मीट प्रार्थना मोदी मजाक कर रहे चल के लीस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स को काट दो अब थोड़ी और दिक्कत हो गई है ना सोच के लिखा ओके द लेडी ओवर देयर मैं तो लास्ट में बैठी है आप मुझे ये बताइए आपने जो 2 पॉइंट काटे हैं वो पहले लिखे क्या थे जो आपने काट दिए नहीं काटे काट दिए क्या ऐसा चीज जो आपको लगता है कि आई कैन कट इट ऑफ एज कंपेयर टू अदर्स और टाइम चाहिए आपको नहीं बैठिए नहीं काटने को जरूरी है हाँ सॉरी आई फॉरगॉट टू टेल यू दिस थिंग काटना तो जरूरी है 2 पॉइंट तो काटना ही काटना है लेडी नेक्स्ट टू यू कौन से 2 पॉइंट आपको लगता है अभी मैं इसको स्ट्रिप ऑफ कर दूंगा और ओबीडिएंट स्टूडेंट्स अरे मैं हाथ जोड़ के विनती कर रहा हूं काटो ओके फाइन और नेक्स्ट टाइम सोच में पड़ गया है ना दिवाली के कौन सा सामान बेचे सभी तो अच्छे हैं ओके मैम यू रोट 5 पॉइंट्स, मैंने सुने भी थे, कौन से दो काटे? उन 4 में कौन से काटे? Now you tell me, what are the 2 points that you are ready to sacrifice?
Appropriate behavior to I have to start it.
Okay, and next.
The next one, everyday lesson.
Every day, correct. आपने जो 5 पॉइंट्स देखे थे ऑल में ब्रिलियंट पॉइंट्स, लेकिन फिर भी अगर मैं आपसे वो 2 मैंडेटरी काटने हैं, कौन सा काटोगे?
पंक्चुअलिटी और रिवीजन।
पंक्चुअलिटी और रिवीजन, जिससे शुरू किया था और जिससे अंत किया था उड़ा दिया।
पंक्चुअलिटी सर
I understand.
पंक्चुअलिटी इसलिए अगर आप क्लास में 10 मिनट लेट पहुंचे और क्वालिटी डिलीवर की है आपने, तभी बच्चा समझेगा।
हाँ, वो समझेगा।
मान लीजिए 9:30 की क्लास है, आप 9:25 पे पहुंच गए, खाली ऐसे खड़े पड़े, क्वालिटी डिलीवर।
Absolutely correct. तो ध्यान रखिएगा 45 लेक्चर की क्लास में 40 लेक्चर दी जाने का मतलब होती है। ठीक है।
अगर आप 5 मिनट में क्वालिटी डिलीवर कर पाते हैं,
That's okay. And if you reach late and deliver bad quality, तो फिर क्या है? बेकार है। Good. दूसरा पॉइंट क्या काटा? पंक्चुअलिटी एंड क्वालिटी। दूसरा रिवीजन। Very good. 2 और काट दीजिए। कंपल्सरी है। And then I'll enter with you. I'll enter with you. 5 पॉइंट लिखे, 2 पॉइंट काटे, 2 और काट दीजिए। और काटना कंपल्सरी है। I am strict this time. This is not the strict home. I am strict. 4 पॉइंट काटिए, लास्ट पॉइंट बचा। Tell me what is the last point? Result, outcome, absolutely correct. Last point?
Never give up later.
Never give up. Good. Last point, man? Setting up the rules and following. ये लास्ट पॉइंट आपका रह गया, जो आप सबसे सारे इम्पोर्टेंट मानते हो 4 काटने का, राइट? Right. Okay. In your case, what is the last point? Explanation. For example, you would not like to sacrifice with it, you will always like to retain this quality as an effective teacher, right? In your case, what is the last point? जो आप चाहोगे बचे रहे। Preparedness should always be there, right? You know why I made you write these 5 points? आप सब लोगों ने 5 पॉइंट लिखे, which are very important as per you. I asked you to cut 2 points. And then I asked you to cut another 2 points. That ideally speaking leaves us with was 1 best point. वो एक बेस्ट पॉइंट जितने लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं ना, सबसे एक बेस्ट पॉइंट लेके यहाँ लिख दूँ ना, वो सारे आप ग्रहण कर लीजिएगा अपने आप में। All of you become best teachers. This is learning from others. क्योंकि आपको दूसरे को सुन के लगेगा, उसको सुन के कि उसने एक पॉइंट रिटेन रखा अपने पास, आउटकम। क्योंकि अगर आउटकम सही है, प्रोसेस तो सही रहा है। सो एक पॉइंट उसका आप कर सकते हो, एक पॉइंट अपना कर सकते हो। किसने पहले इफेक्टिव टीचर बनने के लिए देर ओनली 5 points are required. How many participants are here? 30. If I take 30, 40 points and write it on the whiteboard, तो 30, 40 points को टारगेट करके 20 भी कर लो, तो आप बिकम गुड टीचर्स। तो पहले तो अपने आप में सीखना, लर्न करना, समझना चालू कर दो, फिर स्टूडेंट्स के पास जाइए। A faculty should not have a face, the institution should have a face. Learning should not be emotion, learning should be result oriented. So it's very difficult to identify good qualities. It's very difficult to sacrifice 2. More difficult to sacrifice another 2. Most difficult to retain that only 1 point with yourself. And if you write that 1 point on the whiteboard, and you write everybody's 1 point on the whiteboard, कुछ ऐसे distinctive points मिल जाएंगे कि उसको capture कर लिया, you will become very. So today I have completed the essentials of effective classroom management. The question still remains unanswered. How do I evaluate whether my class is going on really well? How do I evaluate whether I am an effective teacher? For this, we meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Customers should go to the cafeteria for IT and snacks. IT and snacks will be provided as per the in the cafeteria, canteen. प्रशांत सर, प्रशांत सर, ये कल का लंच है। कल का